Check, check, 1, 2. Oh my goodness. The other live was so good we had to do another one. All right. Is it happening? Oh, I guess it is happening. That's great. Let's see if I can do anything here. Let's see if I can make a wave here. All right, let's see if it works. Oh, I see. That's the forward. Never mind, never mind. All right, y'all. We're live again. This is amazing. I love it. You gotta love it. No reason not to, right? Just gonna double check all these things to make sure they're all cruising and rolling. Oh, I guess they are. Very cool. Enjoying it, enjoying it. Very nice. How's everyone doing? What's everyone excited about this coming up for this week and this weekend? You gotta have some good plans. I hope you have more than 1,337 plans, because that'd be cool. Yeah, so today we're gonna do 10 more quotes, and then after that what we're gonna do is alright, so audio sounds good. Everything's good. It's a good time. It's a good time. Looks like everything is working. Alright, that's good. Where do my things go? Where is everything? I need some organization in my life. If your life isn't organized, just get it organized. So ladies, tonight we're not talking about dating. We're rewriting your love story in real time. Let me check my levels. How are my levels? Doing all right? Yeah, all right. And the word that makes it all click is kismet. Oh, you know what I need to bring up? I need to bring up the chat so I can see all of the chats together. Bam. Nope. Yeah, nope. Sign in. Sign me in. I need to see everything. See it. There we go. That's where it is. Chat. Bam. Got it. Okay. So yeah, we are rewriting your love story in real time. And the word that makes it all click is kismet. So we're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications, because kismet isn't he breathed near me and my soul tingled. That's not destiny. That's dehydration and a good cologne state of the end, because after the quotes and the real life kismet moments, we hit AMA. And I'll answer the questions people usually say for their group chat at 2 a.m. Eric Sachs, 5731. Greetings, buddy. How you doing? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. Oh, it's not showing up in the chat. Let me get this. Let me get this key in here. So, one sec. So all the chats can come together. Reloading. All right, so they should be live now. Yeah, the chats are live. I love it. It's a good time. Yeah, so tap like so this reaches more good women. Subscribe and hit the bell. We go live constantly. And yes, we're building toward daily lives all in 2026. Type kismet in the chat if you're done dating confusion. All right, so here's the format. 10 brand new Kismet quotes. You vote your favorite. 10 brand new real world Kismet situations. Steal these lines, please. Yo, Barry McCockiner. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? How you doing? Don't tell me the chat's not reading, is it? Yeah, it is. Maybe I'm just like lagging a little bit. Yeah, it's going. All right, cool. That's good. How you doing, Barry McCockiner? What's new, man? How's life? How's everything? How's your week? You got any fun plans for this weekend? All right. And the third part is going to be the AMA, Ask Me Anything, No Shame, Just Truth. And you can ask me anything anytime. Yeah, so we're going to start with these, so I can see everything. There you go. Can't sleep, so you're rolling yourself a smoke. You know what, man? If you can't sleep, one thing that I like to do is just exercise, man. Just get as much exercise in as you can, and then your body's exhausted, so your body needs rest, and you're gonna be able to sleep for sure. Super easy. And if you are afraid of exercise, just tone it down from a 9 to a 7, or from a 7 to a 5, you know? Just do that. Getting paid on Thursday, gonna pay some bills. Good man, good man. It's always good, man. Take care of those bills. That's super important. W's in the chat for Barry McCockiner. Getting paid and paying those bills. What are you excited about for this weekend, y'all? All right, y'all. So every quote here contains kismet and is directed toward good women finding keeping good men. And let's get it started. Quote number 1. Kismet doesn't hand you the perfect man. It hands you a moment to recognize the good one. If that resonates, type recognize in the chat. Quote number 2. Kismet is when your heart wants the fireworks, but your future chooses the man who stays. Consistent. Type future in the chat. That one resonates with you. Quote number 3. Kismet is the quiet upgrade. The day you stop chasing a feeling and start choosing a life. Type life. Barry McCockiner. I like this format. I've never seen anything like it on the stream before. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. We're trying to always become fun, entertaining, fresh, and all those good things in life. All right. Quote number 4. Kismet is a plot twist where you realize peace is attractive and chaos was never love, just noise. If that resonates, type quiet in the chat. And we're happy to have you here. Barry, you're awesome, dude. You're always a pleasure. You're hilarious. Quote number 5. Kismet keeps a good man when you treat his character like treasure, not like something to constantly test. If that resonates with you, chat, type in treasure. There's a good song with the word treasure in it. What was that song? All right, quote number 6. Kismet is the moment you stop auditioning for attention and start showing up as the woman you respect. Type respect in the chat. Yes, for all those amazing women out there who deserve that respect. Quote number 7. Kismet builds relationships the way great stories are built. Small choices repeated until trust becomes inevitable. Type trust in the chat if this one resonates with you. Let me drop the audio of that thing a little bit. Yo, DJ, you trying me out with that audio? Yeah, all right. Let's see. How am I sounding? How am I looking? Huh. Don't ask how you're looking, man. I've seen better. All right, quote number 7. Kismet builds relationships the way great stories are built. Small choices repeated until trust becomes inevitable. type trust in the chat if that one resonates. Quote number 8, kismet is when you meet a man who doesn't need fixing. He needs a partner who can receive him. Type receive in the chat if that one resonates with you. Quote number 9, kismet keeps love alive when your words are a safe place, not a battlefield with better grammar. Type safe words in the chat. Barry dropping W's, man. I love that. Same, man. I love women. I love my peace more, though. You know what? Don't give up your hope, because there's some good women out there who need a good man and who are willing to share the peace, man. The peace. You know, men work hard. They do all those things, and they'd rather have a peaceful woman instead of living in hell. So that's absolutely true, and I think there's a shift going on. It seems like, not all of them, but there's quite a few women who are definitely getting the message and thinking about their life and using Sonder to see the perspective of the man to make sure that they can both have an amazing life, which is always important. All right, here's the closer. Quote number 10. Kismet is choosing the man who chooses you back on random Tuesdays, not just on special occasions. None of those late night text messages. But what about midday text messages? And good morning text messages on Wednesdays, Fridays, Mondays, every day. Chat Tuesdays. If you want real love, type in Tuesday. All right, drop your favorite quote, number 1 through 10 in the chat. If you pick number 2, congratulations, you're healing from roller coaster romance. We love that for you. All right, so we have some real world situations, some real world kismet situations. Situation number 1, ladies, you meet him while doing something unromantic, like at a hardware store, or waiting to drop off a package at the UPS, or an oil change, you know. You tell yourself, kismet loves real life. Romance doesn't only happen in candlelight. Sometimes destiny wears cargo shorts. You never know. You never know. Situation number 2, he's kind to someone who cannot benefit him. You say, that felt like kismet because character showed up when nobody was watching. If he's respectful off camera, that's the director's cut of who he really is. I was married for 8 years, or divorce was amicable. We didn't even need lawyers. I just focused on myself, and I don't look for love anymore at this stage in my life. Mr. Barry. Yeah, you know what, man? Don't give up on yourself, man. Don't give up on yourself. No reason to give up on yourself. But yeah, God will definitely put a good woman in your life when the time is right. The Lord is in control, bro. 100%. 100%. Let me see if I can pull up this. I gotta do the sign-in thing. Signed in we are. Oh, let's see. Yeah, got it, don't worry. Here. All right, we'll see. Well, it's the same one. I don't understand why this is, okay. That's, Barry, my ex-wife, was a good woman for the most part. It was just a turbulent time in our lives. No regrets and content for the moment. Yeah, man, you gotta be. That's the way to live, man. That's absolutely the way to live. Gotta respect the moments like that you had and love all of them. That's super important. All right. Where did you go? I'm doing good. I don't have necessarily a special woman in my life. I'm still enjoying my life how it is. But if there is a good woman that decides to hop into my life, I'm open to it. I'm ready for some good things in my life. You never know. The Lord is in control. Oh yeah, the situation number 2. He's kind of someone who cannot benefit him. You say, that felt like Kismet because character showed up when nobody was watching. If he's respectful off camera, that's the director's cut of who he really is. So important. Let's see, should we have, we have all the relays in. All right. That's good. Situation number 3. You're excited, but you slow down on purpose. You say, if it's Kismet, it won't require me to rush past my own boundaries. Definitely do not want to rush past your own boundaries. We are not speed running heartbreak tonight, you know? Don't need to do that. All right, situation number 4. He celebrates your wins instead of competing with you. Huge one. Kismet energy is a man who claps for you like it's his victory too. If he gets weird when you shine, he's not your man. He's your hater with a hoodie. Yeah, thank you, Barry. Barry says that picture is it's generating a very serene feeling in me right now. Yeah, that's like a super special one, man. There's just so many rights right there. There's a right forming right here. There's a right forming right here. There's a right here. So beautiful. These waterfalls, this beautiful house, just dream house, dream location, gorgeous. And you know, those visuals are really important too. I forgot who I was talking to. I was talking to one of my friends, but sometimes whenever you're working, like in certain situations, you work like in rough areas or around rough people or ugly places. And it's so important just to get out there like at least once a week and go to some place that's like really beautiful visually, and just kind of treat your senses. You know, you got to treat your visuals really nicely as well. I think it's kind of important. But you know, you can disagree if you want. Speaking of disagreeing, situation number 5. You disagree and he stays respectful. You say, this might be Kismet because we can disagree without disrespect. If he argues like a grown adult, you might have found an endangered species. Very cool, very cool. It reminds me when I was relaxing on the beach in Cancun from Barry. Yeah, I haven't been in Cancun, but it seems like an amazing place to go. How are the waves in Cancun? What were some of your favorite parts of Cancun? Situation number 6. You're about to do the test. Ghosting, jealousy bait, mind games. You tell yourself, Kismet doesn't need games. It needs honesty and observation. If you're running tests, you're not dating. You're just doing that quality assurance stuff, you know? Situation number 7. He has long-term habits. Gym, faith, budgeting, family responsibility. You say, Kismet looks like patterns, not promises. Anybody can talk. Even a parrot can talk. A parrot cannot pay bills. Barry says, which just reminded me, drunk driving a golf cart and almost ran into another golf cart at the beach. Sounds like the start of a music video, man. That's hilarious, bro. You're just drunk driving a golf cart in Cancun, man. That's hilarious, dude. Oh my God. Yeah. Should we like write lyrics to like some of the funniest quotes and like have a collaboration to a song? The waves were okay. It was just a very peaceful time. Nice. Sometimes that's worth it, man. You don't always need waves. Situation 8. You feel calm around him and you're suspicious. You say, Kismet might feel quiet. My nervous system isn't used to healthy. If your body is relaxed, don't call it boring. Call it not in danger. Not in danger. Let me see how we're doing over here. Doing good, doing good. Nice. Situation number 9. He does a small, thoughtful thing without being asked. You say, Kismet is when he remembers the little things because he's actually paying attention. The bar is in hell, yes, but this is still a green flag. Oh my gosh. Situation number 10. Keeping him. You build a Tuesday ritual. You say, if this is Kismet, we protect it with a simple ritual. One check-in, one laugh, one plan. Awesome, man. Let's do it. Yeah, dude. Let's collaborate on some lyrics. I'm gonna have to make a little notepad. I'm like, Adam, we're developing live lyrics. During the live streams. What should I name it? Live stream lyrics? I can't name it your username, bro. We're gonna get banned. Oh my God, dude. Live stream lyrics. We'll figure something out. We'll definitely figure something out. That'd be cool. And we're gonna have to at you at it too, man. We're gonna have to do some type of thing where live streaming's greatest hits. I like that. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. All right, y'all, we're ready for that AMA. The AMA stuff. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we're going live every single day of 2026. And if you guys want to stay anonymous, you can definitely send me messages on my Instagram, and I will not say your handle or anything. What's the fastest way to tell if a man is consistent or just consistent when it benefits him? Ooh. When he does things for you, when he doesn't really gain anything, I guess that's one thing to think about it. Like if a man is, you know, helping you move something and he's not gaining anything from it, he's just using his muscles and his energy, he's being consistent, you know, he shows up to help you move or do something, that's pretty cool. How do I date with standards without becoming guarded and cold? Well, when you have standards, you are kind of guarding yourself, but you don't need to be cold about it. It's just you set your boundaries. That's a cool thing to do. And you should do it. You should definitely do it. You ever get a chance to check out The Ghost and the Darkness? I did not. Oh my gosh. I did put it on my to-do list. I have a few things I gotta do. The Ghost and the Darkness. Is that available on like Netflix or Paramount? 1996 action adventure, 1 hour and 50 minutes. Val Kilmer, Michael Douglas, Tom Wilkinson, Bernard Hall, Emily Mortimer, John Caney. Is there a synopsis on this thing? Where is this stream? Paramount Plus. Nice, dude. Yeah, I could probably watch that soon. Very cool. That was wild, what showed up there. Okay. Nice, dude. I'm gonna check that out. Let's see. What does a good man do early that players never do? Sagittarius, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining. We're going through the AMA section right now, so if you have any questions, and you can just light it up in the chat, or if you want to stay anonymous, you can just text me through Instagram. What does a good man do early that players never do? That's a hard one, because everyone is different, and it's hard to say. That's a hard one. Oh my gosh. I guess there's that honesty, that real honesty that you can sense, you know. You know, a good man will often establish some type of trust and maybe security and early in the relationship. You know, he can be transparent, consistent. Sometimes the players are thinking about intense, short-lived charm, all those types of things, you know. High-pressure acts. Players sometimes do that high-pressure act stuff, high-pressure tactics. You know, it takes a while for concrete to settle and to form a foundation. So a good man focuses on that, you know, building a foundation of respect. Sometimes a player will focus on rapid physical gratification or egotistical validation, and yeah, players are trying to validate themselves and their insecurities often. From Barry, a good man will treat you accordingly. The energy you put out is what you're going to get back from a man. Yeah, that's right. From a well-balanced man. Well said, Barry. Next question. How do I stop confusing anxiety with chemistry? Oh, can you give me some more details? Man. Oh, like you feel your anxiety is the chemistry? Well, what are you anxious for? You know, that's one thing to consider. Yeah, Sagittarius. How do you treat people when you have absolutely nothing to gain from them? Well said. A good person will usually treat those people very well, very well. Conduct yourself with respect and you'll be okay. Absolutely. From Barry. Dropping W's, like always. I guess like with that chemistry, you gotta feel that chemistry with that like mental stimulation, physical stimulation, social stimulation, all of those types of things, like in a very good way. And you don't need to be anxious about it at all. And just go for it. What is a green flag that almost nobody talks about? I hope people talk about green flags like loving their family, loving their job, being content. Being content is extremely important. You got to be very, very content. That's a huge green flag. Like if someone's not content, they're never gonna be content, you know? But you also want to have that drive. You don't want to just be like content with no drive. So that's super duper important. They help you grow. I guess, you know, sometimes people will be like, oh, you know, he's pushing me too much, or he's doing this or that. I know he's trying to help me grow. Well, he's helping you grow. That's very cool, you know. But I guess there's like a limit to that type of stuff. Green flags. Wants you to be better. I can simplify it. Wants you to be better, wants your life to be amazing. Those are some green flags for sure. Oh. How do I keep feminine energy while still being taken seriously? Tough one. Tough one. But not so tough actually, because the strength and femininity is their softness and their understanding. And you don't want to compete with a man. Like, you don't want to try to be tough with a man and act like a man. Not at all. Maybe some dudes are into that, but that's very rare. And men have naturally deeper voices than women, and when women try to like deepen their voice when they're talking to a man, it's like I don't know. Be a woman. Stay a woman. Keep your feminine energy. And if someone doesn't take you seriously, it's not because of what you're doing. They're just not ready to take you serious. And you're not going to be able to change that at all. Very huge green flag for me is someone who has patience and accountability. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rome was not built in one day. Absolutely. Patience and accountability. 100%. Oh, this is a tough one. Wait until you hear this. What's the cleanest way to handle conflict so it builds attraction instead of killing it? What's the cleanest way to handle conflict? So to handle conflict so it builds attraction instead of killing it. Oh. Use your feminine energy. Take it easy. Know what you can do. Figure out a way to handle a conflict where it actually does build attraction. So just think of it from like a man's perspective. If it's something you do that's going to turn the man off, that's killing attraction. But if you handle the conflict in a way where the man enjoys it, you're going to build attraction. Even if it feels unnatural to you, but if that's your goal, you have to like go towards your goal, right? Yeah, man. Straight up humor from Barry dropping W's. What's one thing good women do that accidentally pushes good men away, and how do we fix it? I think like over clinginess is one thing that will push a good man away. Or someone who doesn't trust someone. Or if she hides information from a guy, I think that pushes men away. Because there's that like gap of communication where it's like a tug and release, you know, like back and forth communication, a little bit table tennis happening. And if he constantly hits the ball back into the box, but she's not really swinging back or bouncing the ball back, it's kind of like, oh, okay, easy win. But no real communication happening. So I think that's a tough one. And figure it out. Every dude is different. There's like typical rules, but ask him what's pushing him away, and you can figure that stuff out. Yeah. Let's get on to the reaction portion. Being able to apologize if you can't apologize or show a little bit of appreciation, it definitely will eat at a man over time, little by little. Yeah, if a woman is never wrong and she can never ever apologize, it's so difficult. Especially when she is wrong. It's like you're arguing with a woman who's like, I'm not wrong, 2 + 2 is 7. You're like, no, it's not. If you're telling me a joke, it's cool, but no, like seriously, it's not. And then they honestly think 2 + 2 is 7. You're like, no, it's not. It's not. 100% it's not. All right, are we ready for like some party-like videos, y'all? I think so. Let's see, is this gonna show properly in here? I guess I gotta do it this way. This is wild. What are these people doing? They're jumping off this gnarly... Oh, it's not even a real tractor. It's just like particle board. Jumping into what? Chubby dude jumping into the water. This is wild. Lost his hat. These girls are just partying out. I have zero issues apologizing when I'm wrong. I just gotta be, wrong 100%. These videos are so much fun. Like, this is just like, obviously it's like private property and they're doing illegal things that you can't do on like public roads. So any of these things, don't do them in like, you know, public roads or any of that type of stuff. But this is just fun to watch. Look at all that fire. Flames, slow-mo. It's really cool that it's slow-mo too. Oh, I hate watching pain. What a close call right there. Man. Oh, that dude did an Indo to a 360 bar spin. Landed it. Front flip, 1 flip, 2 flip, 3 flip. How deep is that water, man? Looks wild. 180 double bar spin, one-handed. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what that is, dude. He's doing that with pegs on and with these people around, dude. This is so dangerous, man. One of those pegs hits someone's shin and plow. Possibility of a broken shin bone right there. Whoa, dude, almost got that guy. Jumping through fire. Pretty cool. What are they drinking? Probably hard cider. What's the alcohol content? I have no idea. Oh man, this dude's 50-50ing the rail. Jumping off. What are these guys doing, dude? He's on the back pegs on this muddy tree log. Oh my God, dude. Oh, dude, he's so lucky he cleared that gap. Otherwise, he would have been in so much pain. Oh no, dude. What a slam, dude. Boom. Shallow water, too. That dude's sitting sideways on that four-wheeler. Oh my God, dude. Just fucking throwing fire at people. This is so wild. That's pretty cool. I'm too old for that though. Yeah, for sure. But are you? Are you actually? Oh my God, dude. Oh, this guy's doing the shower clean. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Wild. Oh my God. I guess it's warm out there. She's not wearing too many clothes, right? Oh my gosh. What does she have on her beanie? She's got sunglasses. At least she's not wearing them at night. Yeah, great makeup. Wheelie, one-legged wheelie. So on these wheelies, which is like pretty wild, this guy, usually you would want to hook your left foot underneath your peg and then your right foot being there for the brake, just in case you have too much gas on your throttle. But this dude's gnarly. He doesn't have his left leg on his peg. He's probably gonna fall. Oh, no, he didn't fall. Oh no, bro. Those slams don't look too bad, but that was like a 8-foot fall, 7-foot fall. He fell on concrete. Concrete is not easy for him. Barry, laugh out loud. After 12 years in the army and 10 years getting ran into bodybuilding, my body is pretty much shot at this point, at least for that kind of stuff. Yeah, man. But you know, the beautiful thing about the body is like, it can get better. It can definitely get better. What, dude? Is that a backside blunt on that, like, 8 foot, 10 foot? That's wild, dude. That's so wild. So if you just look, I don't know if this guy's regular or goofy, but he goes and he stops the truck above the lip and then the tail below the lip. And like, just think about that. His whole body is on that side of the lip. It's so scary what he's doing, dude. Like, I'm afraid to do this on like a little 4-foot. And he's like, if he doesn't catch and snap his board back and land that, he's gonna slam, and his body's like gonna compromise because he's like with his back, he's not forward to the whatever this is, quarter pipe, and he lands pretty much in the good spot, you know, where it starts to bend back. But look at his body. His body's twisted. His head's not even facing where he's going, so he's just going by like pure, I think I'm gonna land it. And if you look at his foot, his heel is pretty much off, so he's putting a lot of pressure on his toes there. And then he turns around, and thankfully he's got his construction helmet on. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman, bro, dude can barely walk now. Yeah, that dude's wild, dude. He was doing, this is what Barry's talking about. I gotta bring him up, dude. Lightweight, baby. That's what he used to always say. But this guy did like so many roids. It's wild. So, where's my thing? Yeah, so this dude used to be in like amazing shape. And now he uses these like hand things. Is he now using those hand things to walk? Yeah, this dude was like shredded to pieces. Multiple Olympia guy, right? How many times did he win Mr. Olympia? Shut up and squat. I think that's the video. He's like, lightweight. And he's doing, I think, like 8 plates on each side. Yeah, this dude was gnarly, bro. And now he can barely walk. This dude's landing backside over a gap. No, dude. Got a little. Oh, the photographer took a trash can to his face, dude. Oh my god, dude. No photos. Backflip. Another backflip. What are these guys doing? Pulling a couch? All right. Oh, I can't see this. I'm sorry, guys. So here's where the photographer just takes one in the head, dude. Pretty bad, dude. Pretty bad. Bam. Backflip off a tractor, backflip off a truck. These guys, it's like an air mattress or an air sofa and a mini bike. Okay. They got to do whatever they can for the gram. 8 times a Mr. Olympia that dude got. Yeah, man. Ronnie Coleman was wild. Yeah. Even the natural guys, you know, like Mike O'Hearn and The Rock, those guys, they need to do it to compete professionally, you know? Allegedly. This dude's on fire. Wow, dude. Oh no, dude, Indo to the face, dude. Fail City. Oh, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Ran into somebody. Oh, nope, he landed it and then didn't. You got a flamethrowers. All right. What is that dude threw? Oh, like part of a mannequin or something. It's not a brick. All right. Rain or shine, doing some wild things. What is that? Skiing? It's like a single ski. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. All right, I don't know if you all like motorcycles, but this is a work of art.
Special night. Be careful. Boys, stop traffic. No.
He's like, do you want me to stop traffic? He's like, no, I got it. Honestly, I don't care who takes steroids unless you're competing in a combat sport where you could seriously hurt somebody else. True, absolutely. What about in like baseball, where you can't really hurt somebody, you're just kind of batting a baseball over a cage, fence, but it's not really physical. I guess maybe like when they're running home, they could hurt the catcher, but you know, A-Rod, Jose Canseco, those guys. What are your thoughts on that?
I can stop traffic if you want.
I wish more baseball players would take them. Who doesn't want to see 500+ foot homers? True.
Hold on.
Look at this bike. Wild. It's so heavy, dude. That dude's like doing squats just to back it up. It's got like chopper bars. It's got like this little paint in between the tire tread just to match like the LEDs and the orange color. LEDs around the engine. My father absolutely hates players that take steroids. He's a baseball purist. Yeah, he's got his reasons, man. He's got his reason. Man, if this guy's like 6 foot, those rims have to be like almost 3.5, 4 feet tall. Wow. Look at the size of that back tire. It's a huge back tire. Got muscles on the bike, got muscles on the fans.
A lot of people out here.
She natural or not natural? What do you think? Dude is a walking baseball encyclopedia. I swear to God, he could tell you who played second base for the Cubs in 1942. It's unbelievable. That's awesome. Tina Zacchini, thank you for joining in on the chat. How are you? Welcome to the chat. For joining. We're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure y'all subscribe and turn on those notifications. All right, so this is so wild. Residents of Maui, Tom and Carrie Bashaw, lost their home. after a flooded river barreled through Happy Valley on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Dude, look at that house just going way overboard.
The whole back half of the house was gone. Bedrooms, living room, half the living room. Mother Nature wins, and she wants you, she takes you.
That's true. Mother Nature wants you, she'll just take you. Absolutely.
Never expected my whole house to disappear. There's nothing else we can do. This is all we've got, and it's gone.
That's so wild, man. The floor is completely gone, like the wall's still there, the painting's there. Is that a fireplace still there? That's so wild. This little door is hanging over there. My goodness. This is wild as well. Animal nature. Mother Nature. True, 100%. Barry says, I'd rather lose my house to Mother Nature than squatters. Absolutely. Alright, so there are foxes. Look at that height. Fox's eyes just looking straight ahead. And grab some type of animal. Something. Arctic fox. Yeah. My, oh my. Tina Zucchini, did you hear about the missing General William McCasland and Monica Reza? I did not. What happened? What happened? Let me type that up. General William. Oh my gosh, I can't even type right now. They should have photoshopped that fixing fox holding a board getting air. Yeah. They were both working on top secret info and went missing on hikes 8 months apart. Look it up. General William Neil McCasland and Monica Jacinto Reza. Do you have a preference on where I look? I think X has probably some of the best information. I don't know, but if you have any idea of who has better information, let me know. Aerospace engineer Monica Jacinto. Okay, so they're making something with airplanes, right? Or spaceships or weapons that travel through the air. Monica Jacinto Reza, co-inventor of a key U.S. rocket alloy. Okay, working with rockets. Vanished while hiking in 25. And months later, Major General William Neil McCasland, who oversaw the program that funded it, honestly, he was the backer, has also vanished without a trace. Were they taken to another country for their brains, or what's going on? I remember when I was younger, I'd always just blow up conspiracy theories, but now that I'm older, I see them everywhere. From Barry, yep. He was in charge of property accumulated from Roswell, an alien technology, and she created special metals for rockets. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I am not suicidal. To fake an alien invasion, you gotta get rid of people who know how it all works. Oh. You know, considering we had wall-to-wall coverage for an 80-year-old missing woman on Fox News, you would think that this deserves at least a day. The amount of scientists, engineers, military, and academics involved in the UAP topic around new energy and physics who go missing, assumedly killed, is very concerning. Disappearance of USAF General Neil McCaslin is extremely suspicious and concerning. He left his house in New Mexico at 10 in the morning on a Friday, February 27th. His wife is home and there was a service person, handyman, at the home when he left. What was the handyman doing at his house? They vanished. Bro, maybe they created some type of like, what's that called, teleportation device where like they can just vanish and appear someplace else. Retired Air Force General went missing from his home. Has not been seen since. He was last interacted with the handyman around 10 a.m. and vanished within a 1-hour window while his wife was at a McCaslin's disappearance has prompted a large-scale search involving the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office and the FBI. Authorities issued a silver alert due to concerns for safety, citing unspecified medical issues. He left behind his cell phone, reading glasses, and a wearable devices. Wait. Left his cell phone at home? Who goes on a hike without a cell phone? But took his hiking boots, wallet, and a .38 caliber revolver. You never know. You never know what's happening with these people. Jesse Waters did a great segment on it yesterday. Kirtland Air Force Base, adjacent to the Albuquerque International Sunport, hosts several major research laboratories and facilities critical to national defense and scientific innovation. Sandia National Laboratories, a government-owned, contractor-operated national security laboratory. Sandia is headquartered at Kirtland and is direct descendant of the Manhattan Project's engineering division. It conducts research on nuclear weapons, energy, non-proliferation, material science, computational biology, and alternative energy. Interesting. Alternative energy. All right. What is energy non-proliferation? Nuclear non-proliferation refers to efforts to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons, technology, and fissile materials to additional states or non-state actors. Non-proliferation. So she's like on part of that team that wants, you know, other countries not to have nuclear power, I'm guessing. They knew too much. I'm gonna have to check that out. That's suspicious as you know what. That's for sure, bro. Yeah, no one goes anywhere with their cell phone. Yeah. Absolutely. 100% Barry. Yeah. Shady. Including technical areas 3 and 5, the 10,000-foot rocket test track, and the Z machine, the world's most powerful and efficient laboratory radiation source. Space Vehicles Directorate focuses on satellite technology, propulsion, geophysics, and space systems. Directed Energy Directorate conducts research on high energy lasers. Oh, that's a big one. High energy lasers. They use that in a lot of areas, right? Didn't they use that in it's titled National Security Fear. All right, and that's by the, did you say Jesse something? Jesse Waters. Person of the Year Time, the conspiracy theorist. And there have been two kind of strange deaths of researchers recently, the one at MIT and another one a couple of weeks ago. Nancy Guthrie gets 3 weeks of news coverage about her disappearance, and I've never heard of these two once. My goodness. Oh, Jesse Waters made some remarks after Charlie Kirk as well. Security branch, 25. Recent. 25. Yeah. Yeah, they can do so much with those lasers, man. That's so wild what they can do. We've had key fusion scientists and others murdered in recent months too. This is getting disturbing. Do you think it's from outside of the country, or what's happening there?
What is going on with our scientists in America? There's a few notable figures that have gone either missing or ended up dead. So there's a few connections going on with some hot topics. Trump.
National security fear. I just go to remove. Is it on YouTube, or where's that at? Maybe I'm blocked from it. There we go. National security fears. Jesse Waters. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about?
Police are searching for a retired Air Force general who vanished in New Mexico. William McCasland went missing last month. Members of Congress are...
You never know. Eating all that cake could have gotten diabetes and just passed out.
warning this could be a national security issue. The general was involved with the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace research. He oversaw a classified space weapons program.
Look at that backpack he's wearing. If he's hiking, I don't think that he's gonna be not going with his cell phone. What do you guys think? A little weird?
McCasland was in charge of the Air Force Research Lab at a base in Ohio. It's rumored that base holds extraterrestrial debris from...
Extraterrestrial debris? Honestly.
From the Roswell crash site. The general was tied in with the UFO community. A source
Tied in with the unidentified flying objects community. Ahmad Hickman, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the chat. Barry, news shouldn't be political. It should be informative, 100%.
Source told the New York Post the general was a gatekeeper for anything UFO related in the Air Force.
That's huge. He's the gatekeeper on anything related with UFOs.
He retired due to mental fog, but investigators say he's still highly intelligent and capable. McCasland was an avid hiker.
Is that true? Did he actually retire because of mental fog?
His wife last saw him leaving with a backpack and a .38 revolver.
Smooth Bandit Zero, thanks for joining in on the chat. He got Havana syndrome. What is Havana syndrome, bro? Also known as anomalous health incidents, is a disputed medical condition starting in 2016. Severe headaches, dizziness, blurred vision, tinnitus, vertigo. Okay. It's on PubMed by NIH, National Institute of Health, so it's recognized. Does it actually make it less believable or more believable since he did have that? Because maybe he's like, I got everything, and he thinks he has a cell phone, but he actually doesn't.
No phone, no glasses. He disappeared 6 days.
Wait, no glasses? How is he gonna walk around with no glasses? That doesn't make sense. Because you can walk around with a cell phone, you're like, oh, I think I have my cell phone in my pocket. But when you walk around without glasses and you can't really see too well.
Right after Trump announced he was releasing the UFO files. And he's not the
Right after Trump announced that.
only one. 8 months before the general vanished, a rocket scientist who worked under him years ago also went missing. She was hiking in California with 2 other people. They saw her smiling and waving 30 feet behind them. When they turned back again, she was gone. Vanished in plain sight. They searched for days and couldn't find any trace of her. This is a very, very strange situation. And 11 days before the general disappeared, a
Renowned scientist. Extinguished on the porch by hot metal.
another scientist was shot dead on his porch. Carl Grillmar.
They haven't found his body. Being in the military in the position that he was in, trust me, he never would have left his phone. Okay. You gotta take your word for it, Barry.
Was known for discovering signs of water on a distant planet. He was gunned down in California.
That's a huge sign. If someone discovers water on another planet, what's next to water? That's life. That means there could be another civilization. That means there could be answers to who built the pyramids and how they built them.
Freddie Snyder was later charged with his murder. He has a rap sheet, but was let out of jail by a Newsom-appointed judge
Oh, Mr. Newsom.
weeks before he allegedly killed the scientist. We still don't know his motive. And we don't know if these cases are even
May his soul rest in peace. You have to have it on you in case something happens and you are needed. It's not like working at Starbucks, where when you're not at work, it's okay not to answer it. Ooh, Barry dropping W's. That's true, absolutely. With how much he knows and what they need from him, it makes a lot of sense.
connected. But this many top scientists getting killed or going missing in just under a year looks like a major red flag.
What's he trying to say? Like, by who? Who would have done that type of stuff?
Chris Swecker is a former assistant FBI director. Chris, the mind goes right to a foreign intelligence service. Is that where your gut tells you this is going towards?
Well, yeah, it is, Jesse. I mean, I understand the UFO angle has a lot of interest, and people love to kind of dabble in that area with their theories. But if you look at these two, they were both involved in very, very sensitive rocket propulsion.
Great question, Tina Zucchini. Why are they taking all these smart people out who have secret info?
Programs associated with missiles and space travel. And there was one particular piece of technology.
And who is taking them out? That's the question.
Certain type of metal that really liberated us from having to rely on Russian Soviet technology.
Oh. Okay. Possible.
Back in the day. So it's really sensitive stuff, and I'm not a big believer in coincidences. So, you know, if I were heading up the FBI field office or the FBI.
Yeah, are they taking them out, or is something else going on that we are missing? Yeah.
Right now, I would have a full team on this one just to make sure. I mean, I'd look at everything, dissect their lives, and just see if there's any connection to some hostile foreign intelligence service. They want that information. They've been working to get it for years and years. You know, India, Pakistan, even some of our friends are trying to get that type of
So that's why I said Russia, India, Pakistan are all trying to get this type of, well, India and Pakistan are trying to get this information, and before we had to source it from Russia, allegedly. And someone will get monetary gains if we have to source it from them again, but you never know. It's the same reason we have limited renewable energy. Definitely could be smooth bandit zero.
technology from us, and they'd stop at nothing to get it.
Yeah, we did hear reports that.
So if they didn't find their bodies, that means they still could be alive, and they could be helping other people's or other countries or other private companies.
The UFOs that were recovered are being exploited to, I guess, take advantage of whatever technology that's so advanced so we could apply that to our military. And there's kind of an arms race. You know,
if you guys take a look at the bottom right, this screen over here, I saw this a few days ago.
Of whatever.
And if you pay attention to this black thing, is this AI generated or is this actual footage? What do you guys think? You know, it's obviously what we would call analog in the FPV world. So this is analog, but
technology that's so advanced so we could apply that to our military.
it's thermal camera, most likely. Barry can probably correct me if I'm wrong.
And there's kind of an arms race. You know, who could ramp up this UFO technology the fastest? Would that be a motive and also a financial motive?
I don't know. To me, I don't know if it's accurate or true, but
Motive too?
you never know. And from what I hear, government has these technologies that are so advanced, we have no idea of like what is actually going on at all. But I'm gonna go back for it. That looks like a legit feed to me. Okay. Tina Zucchini, or they are abducted by aliens. You never know. You never know. Also in the same in the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah. Remember when Elon had a B-word beef with the FAA administrator a year ago and air travel became less safe? I do not remember that. Oh my gosh. But I do remember like that military helicopter that was flown by a female who hit a private plane, I think, or a 7-seater, something like that. So that was kind of weird.
Technology the fastest. Would that be a motive and also a financial motive too?
Well, I mean, the motivation to get your hands on that technology cuts both ways. You know, they would like to socially engineer their way into it, get it that way, get it through some sort of other methods that they use, or getting into our military bases with plants, and in some cases they'll compromise a scientist. And that
W for Tina Zucchini for telling us about this video. Awesome. But yeah, maybe they're talking about monetary gains here.
You know, that can lead to problems, of course, to lead to problems, but he left with a .38 caliber weapon and a backpack and no wallet, no phone. So you wonder what he was really up to here. You know, did he anticipate not coming back? No wallet, no phone, and what was he doing with the .38 caliber weapon? So you wonder if he was, you know, if he had been compromised and he was going to, you know, take the extreme measures.
LGA had 2 fatalities the other day. Yeah, but he goes without his phone or wallet. You need money, you need communication, and just goes with a gun. And he forgets his glasses. I'm trying to figure out the truth here, what's happening. 2 pilots were killed in the runway collision at LaGuardia Airport. Is that Spain? The victims have been identified as Antoine Forrest and Mackenzie Gunther, both Canadian, and early in their flying careers, they were the only fatalities in the incident involving Air Canada Express, a CRJ, which collided with a Port Authority fire truck on runway 04. The truck had been responding to a separate incident involving a United Airlines flight that reported an odor on board. That sounds like a problem with the control tower, because the control tower tells the airplanes like, hey, you can't go because there's an emergency. Fire truck has to do this and that. Or they tell the fire truck, hey, wait until this airplane passes. So that definitely seems like maybe a DEI hire ruined something, or someone just made an honest mistake on accident. National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the crash, having recovered the flight data and cockpit voiceovers. Preliminary findings indicate air traffic control cleared both the aircraft and the fire truck to use the runway. Okay, air traffic control cleared both the aircraft and the fire truck to use the runway simultaneously, with controllers later issuing urgent stop commands that were too late. The runway was closed for over 12 hours. Idiots. While the 2 pilots died, the 2 firefighters in the truck survived with non-life-threatening injuries and were released from hospital. Oh my gosh, dude. You know, there's some jobs you don't F around with. Air traffic control, the word air traffic control. Like, you have to be a controller of the air traffic, bro. Save lives. Idiots, dude. May their souls rest in peace. It was a head-on collision. Airfield traffic. Thanks for making me laugh, bro. Appreciate it.
To deal with it himself.
Yeah, have you ever heard of situations where foreign scientists are abducted and then, you know, tortured for intelligence?
Wasn't there like an airplane where a bunch of those like scientists went on something for like some type of convention or some type of like meeting, and black box was gone and all that type of stuff? The plane tipped after passengers exited. Oh.
Yeah, there are examples of that. Most of them we haven't heard about. They're classified. But you know, the Israelis have done this with the...
Yeah, there were survivors. I think the only people that passed were like 2 air pilots, but one of those ladies that walks around and like gives food and drinks, she was ejected, but she's all right.
A nuclear scientist with hostile...
So that's the problem. Does it show actual footage of like how it happened, or just like the aftermath? Here we have two talking heads. Let's see what they have to say.
Pilot and co-pilot. The flight from Montreal was landing when it collided with a ground vehicle just before midnight. Both the two people were killed.
It was landing just before midnight. This truck over here looks demolished. Both pilots died. Everyone else is okay. You know, that's how sometimes people like cope with death. You know, they like laugh, you know. Yeah, but may their souls rest in peace.
Just before midnight. Both.
And hopefully they're in a better place.
The two people were killed. 9 passengers in hospital with serious injuries.
9 people in hospital with serious injuries.
The Federal Aviation Administration says there won't be any flights in or out of the airport until at least 6 p.m. UK time, while investigations take place.
At approximately 11:40 last night.
What a voice difference. That girl is so classy, the English girl, and this girl, she's like, got a deep voice. Maybe she had a long night, didn't get any sleep.
Air Canada Flight 8646, operated by Jazz, collided with the Port Authority aircraft rescue and firefighting vehicle on runway 4. The plane carried 72 passengers and 4 crew.
That was a full plane.
The ARFF vehicle carried 2 officers. In accordance with our emergency plan, our mutual aid partners, FDNY and NYPD, immediately responded. Initial numbers indicate that
What happens to the air traffic control people? Honestly, that's like something that I'm curious about, because that needs to be fixed. And we're also going live every day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. There's that subscribe button right up there.
41 passengers and crew were transported to the hospital, as well as
41.
The ARF officers.
Well, audio has also been released of the moment that the plane and the fire engine collided. In the clip, an air traffic control agent can be heard giving permission for the fire engine to cross the runway before repeatedly telling the plane to stop. A siren can...
Bro, my goodness. How are planes gonna stop? If there is a problem, have the fire truck veer off the runway, go into dirt. Come on, guys. Come on, dude. Use your common sense. Oh, you're gonna get fired? Okay, you saved 2 lives, man. Get fired, who cares?
Can be heard in the background after the collision.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop.
To stop there, please? Like a setup? There needs to be repercussions.
Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Stop, Truck 1, stop. Delta 2603, go around, runway heading 2000. Jet 646. Jet 646, I see you collide with vehicle here, just hold position.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm joined now by Sean Fitzpatrick, former pilot and founder of EEJ Aviation Consultants. Sean, good to talk to you today.
So the air traffic controller was working alone? Of course it's Air Canada, JMay123. Thanks for joining in on the chat. Thanks for lighting it up, man. Gosh, we needed that. It's a heavy, heavy situation, man. It's never okay to hear about anyone dying.
It's pretty arresting audio, isn't it? Just hearing that playing out in real time. Clearly, both the fire engine and the plane shouldn't have been in the same place at the same time. What do we think happened here?
Jane, thank you very much for having me. Well, it's a tragic event, to say the least, and just condolences to the family of both pilots. I have a lot of former colleagues and friends there, and I know it's a pretty somber day at Air Canada Jazz and the Air Canada Jazz family. What we seem to have is a situation where, from my understanding and from what reports have been able to get online, is there was an aircraft that was in distress from a previous event that was going on at the airport. the crash fire rescue units were responding to that. And in order for the crash fire rescue units to get to that aircraft, they had to cross the active runway. While they initially, were requesting permission to cross the active runway, they received it. At the same time, we had a Air Canada Jazz aircraft actually landing and in the process of decelerating. During that process of the aircraft rolling out from its completing the landing, apparently the trucks came onto the runway, and the consequence was that they ended up colliding with the front of the Air Canada Jazz aircraft. Now, there's lots of speculation on the speed at which it happened, but as you can see from the front of the aircraft, it was obviously fairly high-speed impact. And
absolutely high-speed impact.
And the end result is, we have 2 fatalities and a bunch of injured people, and like I said, a very hard day for the people at Air Canada Jazz.
It absolutely is a desperately sad day. I mean, are we lucky, though, that perhaps more weren't killed or injured here?
Absolutely. The front of that aircraft, there's not a lot there between the pilots and the nose of the aircraft. It's not like your car, where, with such an impact, you would probably have an engine that would absorb a part of the impact. And the fact that we never had more fatalities, it's impressive, to say the least. And but we still have two pilots, who are deceased.
How unusual are incidents like this, when a ground vehicle comes into an actual direct collision with an aeroplane?
It's not a common event, and just to put it in context,
when planes are landing, they're coming in at 130 to 160 miles per hour. So, you don't know if it's coming from the back or in the front. And also, they wear those firefighters, they wear those big earmuffs. And it's wild, but there's got to be a scout on there, like to look, have his head on a swivel, like, hey, everyone have your seatbelts on because we might have to get off this road. But such an unfortunate moment, man.
Context, I'm very familiar with LaGuardia Airport. I'm very familiar with that airplane. I operated in there many times over, the past 15 years. And that airport is extremely busy. And what appears to have happened is we had one air traffic controller that was working both the ground control and the aircraft in the air.
And by the way, LaGuardia Airport, LGA, is located in East Elmhurst in the northern part of the New York City borough of Queens. It's not like I assumed. In Spain. I thought it was Spanish for some reason.
His attention was obviously to try to get emergency equipment to the aircraft on the ground that was requesting assistance. But at the same time, he had to, he also had to land and give clearance to aircraft that were landing at the same time. So, it's a lot of work for one person, and you can tell by the elevation in his voice that the stress factor went up pretty fast when he realized the fire trucks were actually coming onto the runway at the same time the aircraft was slowing down.
There presumably must be safeguards in place to stop this kind of thing happening, because one would imagine if you're leaving it to there not being human error, that would seem to be a little dangerous. I mean, are there not safeguards in place that perhaps those directing both sides have to check with before they say you can go?
Yes, and typically when you're holding short of runways like that, there'll be what we call a stop bar. There'll be red lights up, etc. From a pilot's perspective, we see the stop bars and we know we can't cross the runway. In the case with the ground transportation, the guys or the crew members who were in the fire truck were holding short of the active runway, and they were clear to cross. Now, whatever events led to the fact of not looking right as the aircraft was actually on the runway, only the investigation, will reveal those.
They got to have like cameras on those trucks, right? Like to see front, back, side to side, and also driver awareness and where the driver is looking and all those types of things. They don't have to have them, but it'd be great if they did have them. They probably don't, because those trucks. Oh man, how can this be avoided in the future? So I think what they're blaming is definitely the air control, right?
Details. And I just want to emphasize the fact that this is a very, very preliminary part of an investigation. There's going to be a lot of theories out there, but the NTSB and Transport Canada are down there to find out the facts. And all of this information will come out in the final investigation and hopefully leads to developments of new technology so we don't have this type of event occur again. They do occur, and it is, it is to be human.
Sean Fitzpatrick, former pilot and founder of EEJ Aviation Consultants, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
All right, so this is a live event. Yeah, that's wild. May their souls rest in peace. Is there an actual video footage of it happening? Or they're not going to show that? It's not.
And there was also plenty of questions about exactly what happened and who was in the air traffic controller, who was in the tower during those fateful moments leading up to this. And we were getting a sense of that. They did release in part some of what's going on, what the pilots were going through in this moment, as you can see this here.
Oh no, bro, sideswiped. Oh my gosh, dude. That's not good at all. Is that frame okay? So the airplane is coming from, I'm reversing the footage, but basically the airplane is just landing. Oh my God, the two people flying the airplane. So here's the airplane. Here's the fire truck.
Questions about exactly what the pilots were going through in this moment, as you can see this here.
So as far as like rules of the air, whoever has the ability to maneuver needs to maneuver. And in this case, the airplane does not have the actual ability to maneuver because they're just about touching down. So the fire truck has to maneuver to make way. But the issue is air traffic control said, sure, go ahead, pass to the fire truck. I don't know what happened. Maybe the fire truck muted after, or didn't listen, or wasn't fast enough, or whatever. I'm gonna try to save someone's life. But that's the FAA rules.
What the pilots were going through in this moment, as you can see this here.
Man, it seems like he kind of did see him coming.
What the pilots were going through in this moment, as you can see this here on social media.
Oh man, and then truck went sideways. Oh my God.
And just the carnage that.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
Services that they've been very proactive in that area. We've taken a few of them out. That they have, maybe with our assistance, maybe not. And it wouldn't be the first time. It happened during World War II. We were targeting German scientists. They were targeting ours.
Yo, Yashu6728, thanks for joining on the chat. Win60, I think he's not talking about dead pilots funny, but I think you weren't here in the chat a little bit before. JMay123 said, of course it's Air Canada. And then we all kind of giggled a little bit because it was a kind of a heavy moment. So hopefully y'all can understand that. Yeah, that's their whole job. Everybody listens to air traffic control. If you want to do something, you need to ask for air traffic control. Can I do this? Yes, no, maybe. and then you go ahead and you do it. You make 0 moves until they're like, okay, yeah, go ahead, do it. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. It's so unfortunate.
And that's where that whole, you know, the whole aura around espionage sort of sprung up. You know, all the James Bond stuff around nuclear propulsion, space travel, you know, all of the weaponry that can come out of that through missile technology.
And you're ruling out this was an alien abduction. You're ruling that out? I'm not sure if you're a believer,
Yeah,
Chris.
I'm not going to go there, Jesse. You know, that's I'll leave that to the people that love to delve in that area.
We're going to leave that to other people. We just we hope we can crack this case. It's serious stuff. Chris, thank you as always. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch
moments. But first, goodbye utopia. That's the focus of tonight.
Yeah, like and subscribe, turn on notifications. Win 60. It's getting hard to understand anything coming from your country. Yeah, what do you mean by that? Of course it's sad that happened, you know, with the 2 pilots. And who was the air traffic control guy? And also, what can the United States do to be better? Like, what do you think are like the USA's 3 weak points that we need to work on? The identity of the air traffic controller involved in the LaGuardia airport collision has not been publicly disclosed. So wild. We're gonna lighten it up until we gotta make it heavy again. We need more baby goats in USA. The only way to improve is to tear the system down to the foundation and start from scratch again. Yeah, who's got time to demo and reconstruct though, Matt? That's a big job. That's a big job. Not saying you're wrong. It's a big job.
A lot. I don't look like a Navy SEAL, but that's because no one really knows what a Navy SEAL looks like. The reason I got through it is because 99% of us, we're just people that just get it. Positive attitude. Wake up in the morning.
Positive attitude. Positive attitude is so important. The man in the tower was doing his best. I hope so. You never know, man. You never know how much sleep that dude got. You never know how much arguing he was doing with his wife before. You never know if he had to go to the bathroom. You don't know what's going on in these people's minds. And also these jobs that are so repetitive and they have to be extremely accurate. Humans make mistakes, so it's highly possible.
Be positive. You know, wake up, make.
How many jobs was he doing?
Your bed, do your thing on time. I had an instructor at SEAL training tell me this course is, regardless of what you've been told, this course is not impossible. People graduate, look at me, I'm living proof. So I'm never going to ask you to do anything impossible, but I will make you do something very hard, followed by something very hard, followed by...
Nothing impossible, but something very hard, followed by something very hard. Yeah, baby goats and baby Rottweilers. Oh my gosh, I love dogs, especially little puppy dogs. I could just cuddle them for so long.
But something very hard, day after day after day for 8 straight months, and that sounds like a lot to get from now to 8 months from now, but don't think about it that way. That's not how you achieve a long-term goal. I want you to do it like this. Wake up in the morning on time. Make your bed the right way. Brush your teeth, little victories. Make it to the 5 a.m. workout on time. Don't think about the pain.
Little victories, so important, so important. Little steps forward towards your dreams and towards your goals.
Concentrate on your next goal, which is breakfast. After breakfast, make it to lunch. After lunch, make it to dinner. After dinner, do everything you need to do to get back inside that perfectly made bed because you took the time in the morning to make your bed the right way, regardless of how bad today was, which it will be bad. Tomorrow's a clean slate and a fresh start, and when you feel like quitting, which you will, do not quit now.
Don't quit, so important. Just do not quit. Yeah, absolutely, Barry. And also, if you're that responsible of that many souls in the air and on the ground, they should have some type of rule where you're like, if you even think you're at like 95% or 98 or 99%, you're not 100%. We have 2 or 3 swaps, you know, substitute, swap somebody in, swap somebody in. I'm sure those pilots' families will be content with he was doing his best. I doubt that, bro. But you need to forgive, you know, but I hope it was, I don't know, I wish it didn't happen. That's what I wish, man. It's always sad. Especially pilots, man.
Quit tomorrow. That's life. He gave me great advice for life too. And he also told me it doesn't matter what you look like, what.
They're extremely understaffed. Where's those people protesting on the streets, man? That's for like humanity, to save people. That's the #1 thing we got to do, especially American citizens and our allies. You know, that's super important. Tina, I just saw a video today that said keeping promises to ourselves builds our confidence 100%. And so when you make your own promises, make sure that they are attainable. You know, be realistic. Don't be delusional. Have goals, you know, have those goals that you set and you want to make it there. But yeah, when you keep a promise, make sure it's attainable.
Where you're from, if you keep a positive attitude, you can do anything you want. The best advice he gave me before Hell Week was, you're about to go to war for the first time. And your enemy is all your doubts, all your fears, and everyone you know back home that told you you weren't good enough to do this. Keep your head down, keep moving forward no matter what, never quit, and you'll be fine.
Amazing advice. Amazing advice, man.
Is
Question for y'all. Do you think this is real or fake? Especially the Canadians in the chat. Got a question for y'all. Is this real or fake?
Expired, and you could talk about this. You used to work at a secret Starbucks, is that right?
Yeah, there is a Starbucks that is like above reserve, like a Starbucks no one's ever heard of or been to. All right, have you ever wondered while driving in Los Angeles, how come you've never seen like Will Smith stuck in traffic on the 405?
Yeah.
I've never seen a 1%er just in their car stuck in traffic.
Why is that?
That's because there's a series of intricate tunnels underneath Los Angeles known as the Achterbahn.
The Achterbahn? Tunnels under the US. This is actually a photo of the tunnels underneath the convention center in Las Vegas. I've been here many times.
Is the Achterbahn. I'm not kidding. Like, they get access points to move through the city without ever having to be in traffic. You can come up in LAX, you can pop up at Dodger Stadium. Underneath there in those tunnels is Starbucks.
Here's my question. Photos of the Vegas loop being built. Time what is that called? Time lapse. Time lapse of Vegas loop being built. All right, this is the last 37 days. Okay, that's not showing us much, because what I'm curious about is, like, can they build these tunnels underneath ground without disrupting what's above them? And I heard they're building another, like, Vegas loop type of thing at an airport near that. Can the Vegas loop be built underneath cities without disrupting the cities? The company's Vegas loop is designed to minimize disruption to cities by building tunnels underground, avoiding the need for surface level construction, road closures, or major property acquisitions. The tunnels are typically bored at a depth of 30 feet or more, well below most utilities and surface infrastructure, reducing the risk of disruption to existing city operations. Key factors that help avoid disruption include minimal land use. Tunnels are built beneath the existing roadways and properties, often using underutilized space like freeway reserves. Overall, the Vegas Loop model shows that underground construction can be completed with minimal surface disruption, especially when using private funding, existing infrastructure corridors, and fast track permitting. So it's possible, I guess it is possible, that they could do that.
Set up at different locations to allow them to get coffees while they're driving. All of
them?
Seinfeld.
You've seen Seinfeld down there?
Bono. I've seen Seinfeld down there. Dude, almond milk latte, 2 shots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he a good tipper?
They don't have to pay.
So this has been underneath Los Angeles for a few years now? I mean, how long has this been there for?
I mean, it predates me. It seems like the city was built on top of it. So, I mean, I think this goes all the way back to the 20s.
This doesn't seem real almost. This is crazy.
So there's LA tunnels that are very old, like Prohibition era. Yeah, okay.
I imagine how I sound saying it to people.
Yeah.
It's an ultimate.
While the rest of the country was forced to go dry underneath downtown Los Angeles, the party never stopped despite prohibition laws. 11 miles of service tunnels. Originally built to ease traffic but repurposed during the 20s and 30s to smuggle alcohol and support a thriving speakeasy culture. These tunnels used by corrupt city officials. No, dude, this is lies. There's no such thing as corrupt city officials. You guys are all telling lies, every single one. And organized crime connected hidden bars like the King Eddie Saloon, which operated as a piano store by day and a speakeasy by night to supply illicit booze across downtown LA. King Eddie Saloon. Established 1933. The tunnels also served as routes for transporting money, prisoners, and even high-profile criminals. Today, most of the tunnels are closed to the public. Oh, closed to the public due to safety concerns and earthquake hazards, though some sections remain in use by city employees as maintenance and emergency access routes. Interesting. And those employees could be like the celebrities, right? Yeah, that's so, Yo, Bad Blue Obama, how you doing? Welcome to the chat, my brother. I hope everyone knows where the nearest shelter is. What inspires you to say that, Win60? You know the Lord is in control. Access and tour. Okay, access. The tunnels are no longer used for bootlegging. They remain a powerful symbol of LA's hidden past, where corruption, glamour, and rebellion converge beneath the city's surface. That's cool. So yeah, it could be true. Never knew there were tunnels like that. Win60, you never know. You absolutely never know. But that's nice that you tell us about that, because you always need to be prepared. I've been away from these things for too long. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ultimately, trillions of dollars to migrants that are in our country, oftentimes from places like Somalia. So as an example, ICE recently asked a group of illegal immigrants that were in detention whether or not they were receiving Medicaid. Half of them raised their hands and volunteered that they were on Medicaid. Just volunteered that. These aren't the ones who were hiding it, right? They also asked illegal aliens how they paid their medical bills, and they said that if they don't have Medicaid, they go to hospitals, they get free care there, and they bill it to the taxpayers. So they aren't paying for any of their own health care in this country. This is one example. And we've seen this over and over and over again. So under President Trump's leadership, and then of course with JD and the head of the FTC, Andrew Ferguson, we're going to see the first ever effort in American history to reclaim the ultimately trillions of dollars that were stolen from taxpayers. I believe, and I know President Trump believes, that when this theft is exposed, we will see that if all of it were stopped, it would be enough to balance the budget.
Is there a reason JD isn't sitting? I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? He's a vice president, standing vice president. Okay.
The extraction of wealth from American taxpayers to people who don't belong here is the primary cause of the national debt, and this is the first ever effort to shut that down. Thank you, Mr. President.
First ever. And everyone knows they've been cheating for years. It's the first ever. And it's got to be stopped. I mean, it's got to be stopped. Think of it, Somalia is a third world, maybe a fourth world nation. One of the worst, one of the most dangerous. They don't have anything. They don't have councils. They don't have government. They don't have police. They shoot each other all over the place. They come here and they steal $19 billion. That's crazy.
$19 billion? Man. It's quite a bit. Quite a bit. And who's paying for that? Is that the American tax dollars? And what's that called? What's the deterrent to make sure that doesn't happen in the future?
And Ilhan Omar, I hope this is part of it, but she married her brother, supposedly. I mean, there's a lot of documentation. That means she's here illegally and she's a congresswoman. And I hope you're going to be looking at that, or somebody is, all right? Because she's one of the ringleaders here. She's bad news, really bad news. She's so bad for our country. Anyway, JD, please say a few words.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Mr. President. This is a very important whole-of-government approach to tackle the fraud problem. And let me just tell one story. One of the things that even before this executive order was signed that we were able to stop under the president's leadership is we saw evidence that in Minneapolis there were Somalis, primarily illegal immigrants, who were defrauding a Medicaid program that was meant to go to autistic children. So they were taking children who were supposed to get benefits, and they were claiming that their kids were actually autistic even though they weren't. And what did this mean? This meant two things. Number one, you had a lot of people getting rich off of the fraud while American citizens got poor. And the second thing that it meant is that you had autistic kids in Minneapolis, in suburban Minneapolis, who weren't getting benefits they needed because Somali fraudsters were literally stealing out of their pocket. It's got to stop. And unfortunately, that kind of fraud is one example of probably hundreds just within the state of Minneapolis, and then it's repeated and replayed all over the United States of America. When we first started talking about this problem, the president made it very clear he wanted us to take the fraud problem seriously because nobody had until he was president. We started to figure out one big hole that existed is that the agencies of the government weren't actually talking to each other. So Treasury would have evidence of financial fraud, but wasn't talking to the Department of Justice about it. Health and Human Services
agencies need to be talking to each other. They need to 100%. There can't be any miscommunication. There has to be like a fiber optic level of communication between agencies. That's extremely important.
Services had evidence of Medicaid fraud, but wasn't talking to the Department of Treasury about it. So what this executive order does is force the entire apparatus of the federal government to do two things. Stop the fraud on the American taxpayer and make sure that the benefits that ought by right go to American citizens and not to fraudsters. Andrew Ferguson will be the vice chair and is going to do a great job. If you're curious what's the difference between the vice chair and the vice chair is going to do all the work and I'm going to take all the credit. Andrew.
Yeah, look, I mean, millions and millions of Americans pay into these programs every day and they expect to get something out of it. And this fraud is just siphoning money that millions of Americans pay to fund their hospitals, to fund their daycare centers, into completely fake businesses. It isn't just unfair to all of us as taxpayers who pay for all this. It's particularly unfair to the Americans who need this the most and watch this money leave their hospital, leave their school system, and go out to fraud. And that is why this effort is so important. And I think we've just begun really looking at this, but I think that one of the things we're going to find is that in a lot of these agencies, the previous administration was pretty lax about existing anti-fraud controls, and we're going to expose that too.
That's absolutely true. I think there was a, I need to find this one. It's a really good one. It said, this year alone, they've caught 6 of FBI's most wanted criminals, which are like extreme criminals. And the previous administration only caught, I think, 3 in their whole 4 years. So what Trump did there is absolutely incredible.
I would take the word pretty out. I would change it with unbelievably lax. They weren't, it's not even lax. Lax isn't a good enough word. The previous administration was fraudulent. Okay, and I think that's what you're going to find also. And, you know, we worked so hard, like most favored nations drug prices. For years, people have wanted. We paid the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by far, by 5 times, 6 times, 10 times, more than London would be paying in New York, more than any city in Europe was paying than our cities. We would have a pill that would sell for $10 in Munich. In Germany, we sell for $10, and in New York, it would be $130 or whatever. And we worked so hard, and we pulled it off. It's called most favored nations. So now we went from by far the most expensive drugs anywhere in the world, prescription drugs, to the least expensive. And I had to get all the nations to agree, and I don't want to bore you with how I did it, but I did it. Everyone said it was impossible to do, including the drug companies, and we did it. And we worked so hard on it, and we're going to save so much money for the people. Your drug prices are going to be dropping at levels never even, by 50, 60, 70, 80% in some cases. But you work so hard, and then you see them stealing $19 billion. It's like in one pocket, out the other.
Everybody
and
like, subscribe.
I think Andrew and JD, I think they have maybe one of the most important jobs. Maybe it could be one of the most important things that we're signing because I really believe that they have an opportunity to do something so good for our country. You know, people talk about balancing budgets. You can't balance a budget when people are stealing $19 billion, and nobody's ever heard of anything like it. We had, I guess, in the same state, you went autism, where 4 or 5 years ago, they spent $1 million, and now it's almost $400 million in just a few years. Well, autism didn't go up like that, and even the $1 million was probably a fraud, but it went from $1 million to almost $400 million in just a few years. These are crooked people. They basically said everybody in the state had autism. These are crooked, horrible people. And, you know, I was elected on, with JD, Make America Great Again. That was it. And we can't have this stuff happening. We have to be respected. And they left. So I'm going to sign this. We'll take some questions. But let me sign this first before I don't forget. Let's see. Before I decide not to, okay?
Yes, sir.
I don't forget not to, but maybe I'll decide not to. I would decide not to. If I didn't think they could do the job, I would decide not to. But that'll be a terrible thing. I think they're going to find numbers, Andrew, I think you're going to find numbers that are far higher than you even think. And you know, Andrew came to us. He said, sir, he's read the stories about Minnesota. We know California is many times worse, but Minnesota is terrible. They're all terrible. Those cities are terrible. New York is terrible. What's going on in Chicago, Illinois, with that slob of a governor is terrible. And the kind of money we're talking about is just country changing. It's country changing money. It's having a deficit to having a really profitable country where you can lower your taxes substantially for people. And I think you have an opportunity to do it. And I think you two guys are the right guys. If you guys can't do it, we've got a problem. Because nobody else will be able to do it. Yes,
sir.
So I'll sign, and then we'll take some nice questions from our wonderful media. Okay.
Good one.
Here you go. Very important. It's a big deal. We've been working on this very long. Right?
Yes,
See,
sir.
right? Will?
Yes, sir.
Andrew, do you have a question?
Yes, Mr. President. You said during your State of the Union that this type of fraud, the corruption, is the type of thing that can shred the fabric of a nation. Why do you suppose then that leaders in recent memory haven't looked at the systemic amount of fraud
Because
that's
they're
taking
crooked.
place? And
Because they're crooked. They make money. They gain power. They use it for power. Like with the Somalians, they vote in a block, 100%. They make a deal with the Somalians. They all vote because they're on a gravy train. It's money first, power second. A lot of people say power first. No, it's money first, power second. Do you ever see where, like, Mercedes, people come over from Somalia, they have no money, and now they're buying Mercedes-Benz cars, okay? It's more cash goes out of the Minnesota airport than any other place in the world or so. We're going to find it. And Minnesota's really bad. The governor's corrupt. The attorney general's totally corrupt. Just like the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James. She's a highly corrupt person. Bragg, the DA, is a corrupt person. They're all corrupt. These are corrupt people. And we got too many of them in our country. And we have to expose them, and we have to catch them. And if these two guys can't, these are high IQ people. I've always liked high IQ. These are high IQ people. If they don't do it, we're going to go a long way, fellas, to find somebody else that's going to. We have no choice. If honestly, and they may not do a good job. If they don't do a good job,
thank you, sir.
It's possible. If they don't do a good job, the country's sort of in trouble. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. 2 questions for the
And I think they're going to do a great job. Go ahead.
First, Mr. Vice President, Democrats are already calling you the fraud czar. What's your reaction to that title? And then second,
good title.
Second, given
I like
your
it.
past skepticism of foreign adventurism, are you completely on board with the current war in Iran?
So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country for far too long, and far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, I think that I know what you're trying to do, Phil. You're trying to drive a wedge between members of the administration, between me and the president. What the president said consistently, going back to 2015, and I agreed with him, is that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We have taken this military action under the president's leadership. I think all of us, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, should pray for its success and pray for the safety of our troops. That's the approach that I've taken. Make it as successful as possible.
So there's no hesitation, given your past statements, with the current operation?
What do you mean there's no hesitation with my past statements?
Given your skepticism of foreign adventurism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents. And I trust President Trump to get the job done, to do a good job for the American people, and to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. Absolutely.
Thanks, sir.
Look, JD's been great, but here's the simple thing, and I have, some people, I don't want wars. I want wars less than almost anybody. Peace through strength. But you know what? I've watched Iran for a long time. I've called them out 20 years ago when I was a civilian that liked watching the world. And they're violent, vicious people. The leadership, violent, vicious people. They killed 32,000 protesters over the last 3 weeks. They put out a memo 2 days ago saying, if you protest, we will shoot you and kill you in the streets. And somebody said, oh, there's not that many protests. Well, first of all, there are bombs going off all over the place. But even if there weren't, who's going to do that? Who's going to do it? They don't have any guns, and the other ones have latest in line machine gun, right? And every form of gun you can have. They shoot them right through the middle of the head. They're violent people. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. And sometimes I'll have some of the people that, feel very strongly, like I do about wars. And I say, do you think Iran is violent, and do you think their people are violent? Yes, leadership. Do you think they should have a nuclear weapon, which is massive power? I don't even want to discuss how powerful, because it's depressing. And they said, no, they shouldn't have. Definitely they shouldn't have. I said, and you don't want to fight war? No, we don't want to fight war. So these are naive people that frankly are stupid. If you believe that Iran should have a nuclear weapon, there's something wrong with you, because they would use it the only question is within 1 hour if they get it, or 1 day. They will use it, and they will blow up the entire Middle East, not just Israel. They'll start with Israel, but they will blow up. And you got to see that when they unexpectedly started sending missiles to every country within 1,000 miles of them. I mean, they're blowing up countries that were neighbors, not necessarily some friends. They actually were blowing up some friends. They were blowing up the people that handle their accounts. They're sending thousands of missiles into countries that didn't expect to be in the war because they wanted to take over the Middle East. And if I didn't terminate Barack Hussein Obama's horrible Iran nuclear deal, which I did in my first term, one of the dumbest deals, perhaps the dumbest deal because of the danger involved, you would have had them have a nuclear weapon 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. They would have used it, blown up the Middle East, and they would have then come after us. And if these gorgeous B-2 bombers, give me that bomber, Andrews. Let me just hug that little sucker. Give me that bomber over there. Thank you. You knew immediately which one. This looks small, but in person it's very big. Because it's the only plane capable of carrying a 200,000-pound bomb. So I don't know how they do it, because it's very sleek and nice, but it carries a lot of weapons and there's a lot of bombs. But had I not sent this incredible machine, times numerous others, to hit Iran at midnight with no moon, dead dark, every single bomb was dropped right down the chute that it was supposed to hit. How they do it, who knows? Nobody else can figure it. No other country can do it. No other country has our military or even close. And I think we've probably proven that with Venezuela and now with because we have done a number in Iran. But if I didn't do that, if I didn't decimate, I call it their nuclear dust, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month after that bombing took place. And they would have used it on first Israel and then the Middle East. And you know that because all of those missiles that were launched against their neighbors were set long ago, long before they knew they would be using them this quickly. Had we not done this, you would have had a nuclear war that would have evolved into World War III. And more important, this is a war that there would have been nothing left. So we've done a great thing. The people that say it's okay for a very sick ideology, a very sick country in terms of its leadership, very good people, great people. But the people that say that, I think they're actually, they're either evil or they're stupid. So if you believe that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon, they should not have it, then you have to absolutely love what I've done, because in 2 weeks we have decimated them. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft weapons, they have no leadership. The leadership is gone. But then they set up a new leadership to go and name a new leader, and that leadership is gone. And now they think maybe the sun is gone. They're all gone. My biggest problem is I have no idea who we're talking to, because nobody ever heard of any of these people. They're all dead. But we did a job for the world, not a job for us, for the whole world. We took the worst country in 50 years and maybe longer from the ideological standpoint, a country that wanted to blow up the world, a country that is sick, and it has a religious fervor. And when you add religion, you know, people don't realize more people died in religious wars than every other war put together. And that's what you would have had here. And it was a terrible thing. I'm very proud of what we did. And I think JD understands better than most, if you give Iran a nuclear weapon, at least a very substantial part of the world would be blown up, and it'll be used almost immediately. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You don't mind if I keep this here, do you? Isn't that a beautiful thing? You know, I used to look at it, and I said, it's a piece of art, but how can it be effective? It's so stealth. Think of it, Peter. 1 in the morning, it flies in, and they say, sir, they're in Iranian airspace. And I say, oh, and I'm watching it from the Situation Room with a couple of other very smart people, including some good generals, real generals, not television generals. And all of a sudden you see that dive, they start diving, and sure, and you see him, 30,000, 20,000. Boy, I said, that was a lot. They went down fast to aim it. And they know they're coming, and they're smart, and they never saw them. And they're firing a little bit, but they don't know what they're firing at because they can't see a thing. And then you hear the biggest explosions that anybody's ever heard. Those are the biggest bombs. Outside of nuclear, those are the biggest bombs. And you say, what technology we have. What a great country. I built it, largely, I built it during my first term. I built it. I didn't know I'd have to use it this much in my second term. But we had an incompetent president. We had an incompetent administration. And if that group of people in any form, whether it's Kamala, him, it doesn't matter, would have had another 4 years, we would have had no country left. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You say you're doing a job for the rest of the world. In your conversations with your counterparts, are they thanking you? What are their conversations like when you talk about this military conflict that's taking place in Iran?
Well, they should be thanking me because many of them get 90%. China, as an example, should be thanking us, but I don't expect to thank you, but they should be thanking us. Japan gets 95%, China 91%. Many of the countries, South Korea gets a tremendous percentage of their oil and therefore their energy from the Straits, or as they call it, the Strait. And they should be not only thanking us, they should be helping us. What does surprise me is that they're not eager to help. There are a couple. We'll be announcing some names soon. There are some that really were right up front. I would announce their name now, other than maybe they prefer it not being announced for whatever reason. I will say this: it's a lot easier to get people today than it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, before we destroyed before we obliterated the country, before we took out, because they're down to about 8% of their missiles. They're down to a small portion.
That's huge. Down to 8% of their missiles. Wow, huge.
Of their drones, and we've demolished many of their factories where they make the missiles and the drones, and the rest are all following. Our military has been amazing. We hit Karg Island, took out every single thing in Karg Island except one thing. We left the pipes, because if we take out the pipes, it takes a long time to build them. And at some point, something is going to happen that's positive with respect to those pipes. But there are some countries that greatly disappointed me. And I'm the one that got them to pay from 2% to 5% of GDP, NATO. And I get along great with those countries in NATO, but I always said, the problem with NATO is we'll always be there for them, but they'll never be there for us. And when I hear the UK, which was sort of considered the Rolls-Royce of allies, right? Wouldn't you say? They were the oldest, and they were going to be there. And I say it would be really helpful if you'd send over a couple of ships, and if you have some minesweepers, which they do, it'd be very helpful. And the Prime Minister is a nice man. I think he's a very nice guy. He says, well, I'd like to ask my team. I said, you don't have to worry about a team. You don't have a team. You're the Prime Minister. You can make a decision. Well, I have to speak to my people. I said, you don't have to speak to anybody. So it's very disappointing. And then after we obliterated them and destroyed their military, the whole thing, and it became a much safer zone, he said, we're going to send over 2 aircraft carriers. I said, I don't want them anymore. I don't want them after we win. I want them before we start. I don't need your aircraft carriers after we've already won. So, those things are very disappointing. And you have to remember, we have 45,000 troops in Japan. We have 45,000 troops in South Korea. We have 45,000, 50,000 troops in Germany. We defend all these countries. And then, do you have any minesweepers? And they say, well, would it be possible for us not to get involved? I've been saying it for a long time. This is the greatest thing to come out of this. We spend trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO to defend other countries. And I always said, but if it ever comes time to defend us, they're not going to be there. Many of them would not be there. And we're going to have to start thinking more wisely in this country. Some have been very good. 1 or 2 have been great. I'll tell you who the great ones are at the right time. But there have been some that were right up there, Peter. They were right up there. They wanted to do it so much. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you. You were talking about Iran a couple times today and what they did after Epic Fury began. You said they hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. Are you surprised that nobody briefed you ahead of time that might be their retaliation?
Nobody, no. The greatest experts, nobody thought they were going to hit. They were, I wouldn't say friendly countries. They were like neutral. They lived with them for years.
Got to give a W to Win 60. It would be nice if you could pull it together, but try to come together with MAGA is like hugging a porcupine. Well said. Well said. Can't say I agree with you, but that's extremely funny.
Peter, they were going to take over the Middle East. They were going to knock out Israel with their nuclear weapon. But after we knocked out their nuclear potential weapon, they started building missiles, thousands and thousands of missiles. And they were going to do it with missiles while they developed. These are sick people. While they developed nuclear, somehow they were going to start at a different site, because that site was, you saw the site, the mountain. They were going to go into a certain area, which we know exactly where it is, and they were going to do that. And it's incredible what we've done. I tell you, the job we've done. Do you know, if I didn't terminate Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, you would right now, well, Israel would be gone, it would be incinerated, and probably the Middle East likewise. And remember, they got all of those missiles. And I heard they were sending missiles to UAE. I said, that's strange. You know, UAE is like the banker for Iran. They're like the banker. Qatar, their neighbors, they got along okay. Saudi Arabia. All of a sudden, Kuwait is getting hit. Bahrain is getting, all these countries are getting hit. There was no expert that would say that was going to happen. It's not a question of like, gee, should you have known? And if we did know, big deal. I mean, we have to do what we have to do. But we hit them so hard like nobody's ever been hit. We hit them very hard. And we've extinguished most of their missiles. We've extinguished most of their drones. We've extinguished most of the places where the missiles and the drones are built. We've fully extinguished 2 layers of leadership and probably a third, if you believe some stories. So we only have one thing, to have a little choke point, and they've used it very well for years, but it doesn't work. But I think this, if some of these countries that we've been good to for years, and maybe more important than that, some of these countries that get 90% and 95% of their energy from Hormuz, the Strait. Hormuz, a famous, wonderful, beautiful place, but you wouldn't want to be necessarily sailing a boat there right now.
I would not.
Okay, you know why? Not because of them, because of us. Because we've taken out their entire Navy. We've taken out every one of their drone, they call it a drone layer, a mine layer. There's specific boats that are meant to put mines on. How would you like to have a nation that has 22 boats where their sole function, they're very different looking boats. You wouldn't want one for your family. They're not pretty. Their sole function is to lift a mine into the water and drop it a certain number of feet down. But they had 22 of them. We've taken out all of them. But you can probably drop them off on the boats. So we don't even know. By the way, we don't know that any mines have even been dropped. But the thought that they would scares people that have billion-dollar ships. Yeah, please.
Thank you, President Trump. I'd like to ask the Vice President about his plans to go after possible fraud in California and New York. We know, of course, about Minnesota. And President Trump, first, could I ask you...
A lot of fraud in California. So much fraud. In fact, let me show you this. Now it's not only Nick Shirley, it's Dr. Oz getting involved.
You can see these are medical buildings. They've got Cyrillic writing, Russian, Armenian writing. On both sides, there's lots of action, it seems. I don't know how many patients are getting care, but in this 4-block area in Los Angeles, there are 42 hospices. So either there are a lot of people dying here, or you've got a fraudulent activity that is so good that everyone wants to get in on it. I'm in Van Nuys in Los Angeles, and this boarded up area above my head here is a big hospice center. There are apparently quite a few hospices around here, 42 within a 4-block radius. And these guys stole $16 million. Listen carefully. The main guy went to jail for 2 years, stealing $16 million, which is a good trade-off for a lot of folks. And if you look at it, it's pretty indescript. There wasn't anyone really in there. They weren't doing any services. They just got an address they could claim was a hospice. And then they ran the business, claiming people were at home getting services, which they really weren't. What we have learned is there's roughly $3.5 billion of fraud taking place here in Los Angeles in hospice and home care. It's run quite a bit of it by the Russian Armenian mafia. You notice the lettering and language behind me is of that dialect. And it also highlights the fact that this is an organized crime, mafia deal, where you've got folks who have systemically recruited doctors to write false prescriptions, hundreds of doctors participating. They've got 100,000 patients who they've tricked or...
$3.5 billion. Goodness gracious, imagine that. Win 60. Dr. Oz is stealing more. Please explain, please explain.
Paid to give them their beneficiary numbers so they can perpetuate the fraud, and then the criminals are just running the whole organization and quickly scurrying away when law enforcement does get around to prosecuting them. Unfortunately, in California, there has not been a lot of attention on these problems. That's going to change. The U.S. Attorney, the FBI, everyone's now focused on the fact that in this state, which has about $30 billion worth of home and community-based services, most of it might be fraudulent. Those are big numbers, and we're taking it seriously. The president's not going to tolerate this anymore.
$3.5 billion. Yeah, so there's a lot of fraud happening in California, unfortunately.
You said earlier today that the new Supreme Leader, Khomeini, you don't know if he's dead or alive. There are a couple interesting reports about him today. There's one report that he just narrowly escaped death in the first airstrikes by stepping out into his garden. There's another report that he may actually be gay despite leading a theocracy that hangs gay people. How do you determine what's true, and do you have an assessment of this?
Well, so far nobody knows. If you look at his father, he used to give talks a lot, talking about death to America. He'd say death to America all the time. When they say death to America, you should believe them, because that's what they would have. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it. But they never had the chance. I never gave them the chance to use it. And other presidents should have done. I spoke to one of the former presidents who I actually like. I actually speak to some. I do like some people. It'd be shocking. And he said, I wish I did what you did. Could have done it. Other presidents, somebody should have done it. 47 years this went on. They call Iran the bully of the Middle East. And you could have never had the Abraham Accords. You could never have had peace in the Middle East. Now you're going to have peace. You could never do it with the dark cloud of a nuclear Iran. But Iran is a shell of itself. It's no longer a bully. It's the one that gets bullied. It's a bully that got beat up. We beat the crap out of them. And they deserve that. When you see a soldier walking down the street without his arms, or being helped down the street because he's got no legs, or his face is blown to smithereens with no legs and no arms.
Someone requested a Iron Cross, and let's see, maybe. Who's got the best form? Let's see who's got the best form. Bam. Gotta say.
Those two, no legs, no arms, and a face that got racked. That was done by roadside bombs. That's the favorite weapon of Soleimani, who I killed in my first administration. General Soleimani. Had I not killed him, that was the beginning of their downfall, because had he not gone, it's possible that we would not be this far advanced in destroying Iran, because he was a really good general. He was a vicious, horrible man, but he was a brilliant general. And he was looking to knock out 5 of our military bases at one time. And the man that died with him was his counterpart in Iraq. And they were working together.
That's awesome. So he's talking that they're having some constructive communication with Iran. That's amazing news.
Together, and they got hit real hard. And if that didn't happen, we would have had a problem. But maybe more importantly than that, they were...
Joshua Tift, 4640, has joined the chat. Welcome, buddy, welcome.
He was really the mastermind behind it. And they never found somebody to replace him in terms of the genius. I knocked him out, and that was a big step, knocking him out. But if we
He might be the funniest and best speaker ever.
didn't get rid of the Obama deal, I terminated it against the wishes of my then Secretary of State. He was no Marco. Against the wishes of a lot of people at the time. You remember that, Peter? A lot of people. Had I not terminated, remember that, Stephen? You remember? They were all going, dude, this is not... That deal was a disaster. That was a road to a nuclear weapon. They would have had it 3 years ago, and it would have been used, I would say, 2 to 3 years ago, and it would have been used in the Middle East. And by the way, after they were finished that, they were...
If that's true, how is the Middle East not thanking Trump even more than how much they are? Man, how scary would that be if they did use that?
Coming over here, they never got a chance to do it.
I just want to ask you about something very interesting that you said twice today. That you talked to another former president about the Iran strikes.
I did.
Was it George W. Bush?
No.
Was it Bill Clinton?
I don't want to say. I don't want to say. Because
Barack Obama.
a member of a party, they have Trump derangement syndrome, but it's somebody that happens to like me, and I like that person who's a smart person. But that person said, I wish I did it. Okay? But I don't want to get into who.
Okay.
I don't want to get him into trouble. Maybe, hey,
I have a guess.
you know what? Yeah, I think you probably know. You know, it's interesting. And maybe he'd be proud. And I could even ask him that. Would you like me to reveal your name to Peter at Fox? Well, at least you have high ratings. Your ratings are through the roof, Peter.
Yeah, thank you for noticing.
Congratulations.
Can I ask you another question about the war? If Iran, as you say, totally obliterated, got the missiles, got the first 2 rounds of leadership, Air Force gone, Navy gone.
He's just showing you the tip, man. He doesn't need you showing. He doesn't need to show the whole thing. Smooth Bandit 0. Dropping those jokes.
Can we wrap this war up this week?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Will we?
I don't think so, but it'll be soon. Won't be long. And we're going to have a much safer world when it's wrapped up. It'll be wrapped up soon. We're going to have a much safer world. I had an obligation to do this. I didn't want to, I call it an excursion. I didn't want to make this journey. We had the highest stock market in history. We had low gas prices. Everything was good. And I know exactly, I know what, you're going to do it, and people are going to raise the price of oil, and that's good. But I know that. But that's a very small thing compared to allowing them to have, you want to see a stock market go down? Start letting them hit you with nukes, okay? I think, I said it this morning, I think it's a very small price to pay. And frankly, I thought it was going to go down much more, if you want to know the truth. I assumed that it was going to go down much more, only because people don't understand to a large, it's a big chess game at a very high level. It's a very high level chess, the highest. And I'm dealing with very smart players. These are smart people. They don't get there. You know, when you deal with some of these people, you're dealing with high level intellect, very high IQ people. These are not Jasmine Crockett and her group. These are smart people. These are really smart people, and violent people, and vicious people, and some very nice people. And some are very nice but violent. They turn violent. But you know what? If I didn't do what I did, we would have been hit. Number one, very important, was the termination of Obama's horrible deal, and number two, this beautiful plane hitting them 8 months ago, whatever it was, and taking out their nuclear capacity. That totally threw them for a loop. If they had that bomb at either time, 5 years ago or 7 months ago, if they had that bomb would have been used almost immediately.
Mr. President, 2 questions on domestic policy, bringing it close to home. First of all, the Save America Act, what are you expecting this week when this vote takes place in the U.S. Senate? Will the Vice President's vote be
I think it's imperative that it gets done. I'm not sure it is. You know, the Democrats have horrible policy. It's just incredible. But they stick together. It's the one thing they do. Their Supreme Court members stick together. Those appointed by a Democrat stick together. If Barack Hussein Obama appoints a member of the Supreme Court, that member never goes against him. And they're proud about it. They say, I don't give a damn if it's good or bad. That man appointed me and I'm never going to let him down. I don't say that's right, wrong. I just say they stick together. Republicans go the opposite way. If Donald Trump appointed me, I'm going to show the world that I can be totally just and I can be independent of Donald Trump. He's not controlling me. And I don't want to control them. I just want to have smart decisions. They gave us a decision on tariffs the other day that won't change tariffs. I can do it a different way. I always knew I could do it a different way. This was a little quicker, a little easier, a little better. But they gave it a decision that could cost this country $500 billion to pay people back. Because now I have to start the tariffs all over again. Very simple. And what happens with the money I've already collected? Why didn't they say, starting from now, go the other way? $500 billion, perhaps. It's so sad. But one thing about the Democrats, they stick together like glue. They impeached me twice for absolutely no reason, unanimously. Fortunately, the Republicans stuck together, and it was something. It was pretty wild. But the Democrats have horrible policy, transgender for everybody, open borders, men playing in women's sports. But the one thing they do have is they stick together, no matter how bad the policy. It's embarrassing to watch them try to defend it. And in a way, I say, as a Republican, in a way I say, thank goodness they have bad policy, because you'd never beat them. We have something in there now, the Save America Act. Voter ID with a picture, right? That's a 99% issue. Even among Democrats, you know, Democrats poll at 89% on that. And then they have proof of citizenship. And then they have no mail-in ballots. No mail-in ballots. We have no mail-in. You go to California, they send out like 38 million ballots. Some Democrats got 7, 8 ballots. Republicans are a lot of times calling in, where's my ballot, where's my ballot? They're lucky to get one. Jimmy Carter, probably the greatest thing he ever did. I thought he was a nice man, not a great president, to put it mildly. How did his attack work out in Iran? Not too good. I think ours is slightly better, wouldn't you say? But Jimmy Carter, the one thing he did after he left with Scoop Jackson and some others, they formed a very elite council, a committee that came out and said very strongly, no mail-in ballots, because if you have, we're the only country in the world that has mail-in ballots like we do. The only country in the whole world. People have tried it. France tried it, and they went away. They're now doing paper ballots, watermark paper, which is very hard to cheat. So when you look at what happens with this country, we really have to fix it. That'll be very popular. The other thing we put in there, just as best of, I call it the best of Trump. We have the 3 things I just said, right? But then I added on no men playing in women's sports, and I added in no transgender.
That's absolutely brilliant. No men playing in the women's sports. Super, super important, honestly. And just to add a little bit, have you guys seen that movie, Catch Me If You Can? Frank Abagnale Jr. So he was a renowned con artist and check forger. Famously posed as Pan Am pilot, doctor, and prosecutor before age 19. Released from federal prison in '74 after serving 2 years of a 12-year sentence, and went back to the custody of his parents in Houston, Texas. He had an undercover ruse following a recapture. Abagnale convinced prison officials he was actually an undercover prison inspector, allowing him to use outside contacts to arrange his escape. And then he had a final release after being apprehended in 26 countries. He served time and was paroled at 26, subsequently working with the federal government for over 35 years. So yeah, don't rob a bank and then try to give the money back to be free, but there's definitely situations where similar things have happened.
Gender surgery, the mutilation of our children. We have no mutilation of our children, no transgender. I think they say that's an 80% issue. I think they're 99% issues, but whether they're 80% or 99%, the problem is we have a couple of Republicans. They shouldn't be allowed. They're horrible people, and they're willing to vote against anything. And we have all the Democrats will vote against it. So I think it hurts the Democrats to vote against it, because I'm going to instruct all the Republicans to say that so-and-so that they're running against voted against the saving of our children from transgender mutilation, right? That's pretty unpopular. They want...
That's funny. Magaloid. I haven't heard Magaloid ever, and very funny. John Cena. I used to think Bush was an idiot, but this guy makes him look smart. What are your thoughts on child mutilation and all of those things, and men playing in women's sports, competing against women? Do you agree with that? Disagree? What things do you agree with him, and what things do you disagree with him on?
Men and women's sports, that's pretty unpopular. They want voter ID, but the Democrats don't. Everybody wants voter ID. Everybody wants proof of citizenship. And most people don't want mail-in voting because they know it's a fraud. Touches too many hands. I mean, the postman gets it, this one gets it, that one. So these are all issues that are in the 90s to 100. I would say some are virtually 100.
Barry, that's wild. If you know of like any cool videos that show Frank Abagnale dropping lies, would love to see those.
100%. And the interesting thing is they're that way not only with the Republicans. I'm not talking about leadership. I'm talking about they're that way also, most importantly, with the people. The people of our country want voter ID. The people of our country want proof of citizenship. And that includes 88%, 89% of Democrats.
Waiting for the response. I guess what I said angered a few people. A few people left. Maybe they want men competing against women in women's sports.
And I think the Republicans, Eric Schmidt, Rick Scott, Tim Scott, I speak to so many of them, they all want it. I hope John Thune can get it across the line. He's trying. I mean, he told me this morning, I spoke to him, he's trying. I think it'll be a very, very bad thing for our country if they don't. We're just asking for basic things. Think of it. You can't have voter ID. Do you know in California, if you ask a person to show their identification, they have the right to put you in jail if you're an official.
Yeah, man. If I see a man in women's sports as well, dude, I'm betting on that guy for sure. I'm not a betting man, but if they're gonna allow men to compete against women, for sure.
And you say, man, please see your identification. You're subject to going to jail. That's how crazy it's gotten. With a low IQ person, you know, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities.
Gavin Newsom.
Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I don't want. I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb. But then he looked at the audience and said, "But I'm smarter than you," or something like that. That was pretty silly. So now on top of everything else, I call him a racist because it happened to be a black audience. I will tell you this. I think it was the worst interview I've ever seen of any human being in my life, okay? Anybody else have any questions?
On Iran, will it be necessary to use even a limited ground force to secure whatever nuclear material remains in Iran as part of that threat?
Yeah.
And secondly, have you made a decision?
You mean to go in and get it?
Yes, sir.
Why would I tell you a thing like that?
And secondly...
You know, I can't say to reporters, "Sir, will you attack Karg Island? Will you occupy Karg?" They ask me these questions. And I don't want to be mean, but they're stupid questions. If any president answered those questions, they shouldn't be president.
And secondly, sir, do you still plan to travel to Beijing at the end of this?
I don't know. We're working on that right now. We're speaking to China. I'd love to, but because of the war, I want to be here. I have to be here, I feel. And so we've requested that we delay it a month or so, and I'm looking forward to being with them. We have a very good relationship, but because of the war, there's no tricks to it either. It's not like, oh, gee, I'm waiting. It's very simple. We got a war going on. I think it's important that I be here. You know? So it could be that we delay it a little bit. Not much. Peter?
When you say Cuba is next.
Cuba.
Is Cuba, whatever you do with the military there, it seems like something, will that look more like Iran or Venezuela?
Can't tell you that. I can tell you that they're talking to us. It's a failed nation. They have no money, they have no oil, they have no nothing. They have nice land. They have nice landscape, you know. It's a beautiful island. I think they have great people. You know, I know so many people from Cuba that were treated terribly, and they're over here and they became rich. They're very entrepreneurial people, very smart. I know a lot from Florida, especially. There's so many people. A friend of mine started over with nothing. He's now the largest owner of gas stations in the country and stuff. I mean, Cuban. I also know, I was just with a fantastic person who's Cuban and made a fortune in sugar. You know, Fanjul family, right? And this family wants to go back to Cuba to visit it. They haven't been back in like 50 years or something. They largely come from Cuba. And we'll see what happens. They were asking me about that. They want to go back. Not only Fanjul, a lot of Cubans have said, "Oh boy, would they love to go back." I think Cuba, I don't know, in its own way, if tourism and everything else, it's a beautiful island, great weather. They're not in a hurricane zone, which is nice for a change, you know. They won't be asking us for money for hurricanes every week. But I think Cuba see the end. You know, all my life I've been hearing about the United States and Cuba. When will the United States do it? I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth? They're a very weakened nation right now. They were for a long time. Very violent leaders. Castro was a very violent leader. His brother's a very violent leader. Extremely violent. That's how they governed. They governed with violence. But a lot of people would like to go back. Okay, one more question.
A quick question on fraud for Vice President Van.
Have you guys ever been to Cuba, and would you like to live in Cuba over living in the United States?
Mr. Vice President, you announced a couple of weeks ago in the EOB that the administration would be halting Medicaid payments to Minnesota until the state decided to take pervasive steps to root out fraud. Do you have an update to that specific situation? Do you think that could be a model moving forward for the task force for states that won't cooperate?
So I don't have an update there. Dr. Oz is looking to it, trying to work with the authorities in Minnesota to try to figure that situation out. But yeah, I mean, I think there are two obvious tools that we have to stop the fraud that's happening against the American people. One is that when we see evidence of fraud, we stop the payments. Pretty simple, right? We know that the American people are being defrauded. Let's try to stop the payments. And
that's awesome. See fraud, stopping the payments. Incredible.
Ensure that whoever's making these payments is actually complying with some basic due diligence and making sure the payments are going to the right place. I think the second tool, of course, is we have, as the president mentioned, is we have law enforcement options. We know that some of this fraud is just bad. Some of it's criminal. We know that people are intentionally trying to defraud the American.
Barry dropping the W's. Remember when Biden said poor kids are just as bright and capable as white kids?
People, it's not just in Minnesota, it's all across the country.
99% is criminal.
Yes, sir. So this is one of the reasons why DOJ is such an important part of this, is because we have to make sure that where we see criminal conduct, we actually prosecute it. And the president's talked about this a lot in the past. I don't need to repeat it, but it's worth noting that so many times when we find people engaged in really, really bad conduct, you know, the local judge or the local grand jury tries to stop it. One of the cool things about what we're doing is we're trying to take some innovative steps to ensure that when we find criminal fraud, we can actually prosecute it all the way to the end.
Mr. President,
she wanted one question. She's.
Oh my God, I found the video. I found the video. All right.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. What in the world?
Wealthy kids, black kids, Asian kids. No, I really mean it, but think how we think about it. We think, no, we're going to dumb it down. They can do anything anybody else can do, given a shot. You know, the reason we're the country we are is we're a nation of immigrants. It's not an exact. This is not because I'm standing with you, but it's a fact. It's a fact. We've been able to cherry pick the single best of every single solitary culture in the world, from every continent in the world. That's why we're who we are. Because to get up and decide to come to the United States, whether it was 200 years ago or 2 days ago, takes a whole heck of a lot of courage, takes a lot of resilience, takes a lot of determination.
All right, we can't watch Trump videos anymore. We gotta watch Biden videos.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Is over here, and you guys are over there. Where's your main camera? Is it this one? Which one is the main camera? Okay, good. Nice center, good. I thought it was that one. Go ahead.
Mr. President, Mary Barr with Daily Wire, not CNN. We just wanted to ask about DHS, still not funded, but we reported earlier today that 80% of the primary task force that focuses on investigating terrorism is working without pay. So should that impact
Terrible.
decisions?
The Democrats aren't paying.
That 80% of the primary task force that focuses on investigating terrorism is working without pay. So should that impact
Terrible.
decisions?
The Democrats aren't paying. The Democrats, we have a deal. They just said, we're not going to pay. We're not going to do anything, and it's terrible. The Democrats are terrible. You know, it'd be nice to get along, but for years this has been going on, not just with me. For years it's been going on.
80% are not getting paid. Just ridiculous of the task force.
Ideology, but also different tactics. Here we are, we're fighting big battles with a very tough enemy and winning nicely. And we're not allowed to have security in our country. It's crazy. The Democrats don't want to pay. These are bad people. These are not people that love our country, I can tell you that. They're very sick people. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, press.
Thanks for all the questions.
Now, on the...
Vance was up there. He was standing for 49 minutes. So that's wild. Oh my God. dropping the W's. This is absolutely incredible. Wait until you see what this dude does. Cue ball passes 8 ball to clear the way. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Have you guys seen this new trend? Yeah, that's not a real gun, that's AI. But
Thank you so much, sir. It was very cramped inside there. I hope you don't mind if I bring out some more of my friends so we can come and greet you. It's probably like a day.
don't break the law, don't break the law.
And I know damn well this lady didn't just park in my driveway. Please don't do it. Every time I try to tell him, boy, T, get in your car. Ooh, that's gonna be hard to clean out. Unless you want to steal another package.
AI, but still moderately entertaining. That last picture was like so different, so different. So this guy eats like wild things like onions and garlics and everything on planes, but this this is like a hilarious video.
Hey, Raul, catch ya. Yeah, nice to meet ya, champ.
This is Australian offensive. And then you see the liquid and the barf. Oh, these Australians are so funny, man. These guys are hilarious, dude.
Party, guys.
I haven't ordered anything.
For Theodore? You Theodore?
Yeah, no.
Did you order the pizzas?
No, there's another pizza in there.
Having a Tuesday Arvo pizza party, eh?
No, wrong address, mate. Don't get them out.
Oh, so you're having a pizza party?
Don't get him out. Don't get him out.
No. Somebody's fucking dadages. That's why they've rung 2 pizza mobs.
Oh, this isn't number 10?
You're in number 10 now. Get out and cough. Fuck off.
What?
We're not ordered pizzas, mate. Do you understand?
Sorry, I'm bloody late. How are ya? Why have you ordered so many pizzas?
We haven't fucking ordered them. We didn't order any. You listened to us the previous...
Wait, so Simon doesn't live here?
No.
Oh, wait, I got Alvin.
Yeah, there you go. Simon, Alvin, Theodore. 3 different names. Hey, you're starting to work it out now.
Where's mine?
War with Iran. The Defense Department today revealing the number of U.S. troops wounded has now increased since the war began 17 days ago. They now say 200 U.S. troops have been wounded, 10 with serious injuries. Most have returned to duty. President Trump today lashing out at allies for refusing to help the U.S. get oil from the region as gas prices right here continue to rise. Eyewitness News anchor Sandra Bookman with more on what the president is asking for. Sandra?
Mike, as you know, roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply is transported through the Strait of Hormuz, which is now essentially shut down. That is the big reason oil and gas prices are surging. President Trump is now calling on NATO allies to help defend the strait. The response so far, not encouraging. New videos released today by CENTCOM show before and after shots of blast sites in Iran as the U.S.-Israeli bombardment continues.
Here you see a photo from March 1st of a naval drone storage facility located near the Strait of Hormuz. This is the same location 8 days later, completely destroyed.
President Trump, meanwhile, intensifying pressure on NATO countries to help protect the critical Strait of Hormuz. Mr. Trump telling the Financial Times, quote, if there's no response.
Barry, you've seen this one, but you haven't seen the next one. I could probably guarantee you it's a wild one.
Or if it's a negative response, I think it will be very bad for the future of NATO. Attacks on ships in the critical waterway are effectively choking off some 20% of the world's oil supply.
That's massive. 20% of the world's oil supply. A lot of oil going through that thing.
For 40 years, we're protecting you, and you don't want to get involved in something that is very minor, very...
That's wild. If the U.S. is protecting you for 40 years, aren't you supposed to return the favor?
A few shots going to be taken because they don't have many shots left.
But those countries don't appear eager. Australia and Japan have already refused the president's request. UK Prime Minister
What would happen if U.S. did leave NATO? I don't know too much about it.
Here's Starmer with this message after speaking with Mr. Trump.
We will not be drawn into the wider war.
And the German defense minister with a harsher message.
We have a situation which we did not provoke, which we don't cause at all.
Because it is kind of important to keep the relationships together.
The United States now increasing deployments to the region. More than 2,000 U.S. Marines headed there as an amphibious attack group, capable of conducting ground operations. The president has said he is not ruling out U.S. boots on the ground. The Trump administration insists that higher oil and gas prices will be temporary. Department of Energy Secretary Chris Wright says there's a good chance they will be normal by summer. Less clear is a timeline for the war
normal by summer
itself as the conflict enters its third week. President Trump said recently it will end when, quote, he feels it in his bones.
We have the #1.
It will end when he feels it in his bones. All right, y'all, this is the wild one that...
Israel project.
I don't know if you've seen this thing, but this is just super, super gnarly. Capital G, gnarly.
Okay, this is what Yahweh promised to Abraham in the Bible. As you can see, it's pretty huge. It's the entire Middle East. It extends from the Nile to the Euphrates in Iraq. Okay, it's a huge area. And if you say the Israelis want to achieve the Greater Israel Project, they call you a conspiracy theorist. Like, we don't want that, okay? But explain two things to me. First of all, why is the Greater Israel map on a chevron of an IDF soldier, okay? These are soldiers, Israeli soldiers, and they wear the insignia of the Greater Israel Project, okay? This is the map. Also, if you look at the flag of Israel, there are two blue lines, right? These represent rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates. All right? So if it's a conspiracy theory, then how do you explain these two things? All right, but I want to argue to, you know what? Pax Judaica, it's not about Israel or the Greater Israel Project. What it is ultimately is an alliance of transnational capital, multinationals like Google and Meta, and intelligence agencies that will be based in Jerusalem, okay? So secret societies will be based in Jerusalem, and they will use it as a headquarters for their global conspiracy. But, and they will profit from chaos and conflict around the world because they think that this is the culmination of the prophecy. But it doesn't necessarily mean that Jews will be in charge. Okay, does that make sense, guys? Okay, so it's a much more complicated idea than people think it is. All right. So where do we get this stupid idea from? Okay, it actually starts with Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton, you learn about him in physics class, you learn that he's the founder of calculus, you learn about Newtonian mechanics, okay? But actually, these are just side projects of his. That was not his focus. He spent most of his life focusing on reading the Bible to understand the grand plan of God. And he wrote a book called Observations upon the Prophecy of Daniel and the Apocalypse of St. John, okay? That's where his focus was. And he believed he found the Bible code. And he was a member of secret societies. He was a member of the British elite. And if someone like Isaac Newton is telling you, like, this is what the Bible says, and this guy who found a calculus and who developed the 3 laws of motion, you'll probably believe him. Israel Project. Okay? This is what Yahweh promised.
A little too heavy for me. Gotta lighten it up a little bit. Gotta lighten it up a little bit. Come on, Jimmy, do your job, buddy.
What, sorry?
Where do you get your inspiration for your jokes from?
Where do you get your inspiration for your jokes? I never refuse the muse. I write everything down, and at the end of the show, I try new jokes. Every single night I work, I try new jokes. So it's just little and often. I just write everything down, and then I try it in front of the audience, and the audience always know what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable, what's funny, what's not funny.
Super important to be consistent. Absolutely, very important. Whatever you're working on in life, be very consistent. From one of the funniest human beings on earth, Jimmy Carr.
So I'll try them at the end, you'll see, and we'll see what's funny. And I just, little and often. Don't wait for, inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us go to work.
100%. Jimmy is just one of the best, by far. Any liberals out there? I think I've got one for the liberals right here. I doubt you've seen this one, Barry. I love offensive comedies too, man, and comedians. Oh my God, check this one out. All right. First look, liberals. Is she straight or not straight? It doesn't matter. We love everyone here, but just like from looks. Okay. Keep that in your mind. Does she seem like an honest lady or not an honest lady? Keep that in mind. Just look at like how she is and kind of gather that. Not to create generalities, but just kind of figure this out, okay?
I made a fake Instagram to stalk the girl I dated who blocked
She made a fake Instagram to stalk a girl she was dating.
me and didn't want to look fake, so made it a cool fake juice company.
So she made it a cool fake juice company. All right, so she's making fake Instagram with a fake company to stalk her ex-girlfriend. So she's obviously not straight. Okay.
And honestly, by accident, the whole thing kind of blew up.
And honestly, by accident, the whole thing kind of blew up. I woke up with 10,000 followers and 74 orders of immune shots. Let's, you son of a, where did you go? Sorry. Okay, so she made a fake Instagram account. So we're gonna go to her Instagram. And she said her thing got 10,000 followers. I go to certified her juice, whatever it is. Is my frame okay? No. Whatever, you can see it. Certified juice. 143 followers. Lion. So, there you go.
Blocked me and didn't want to look fake, so made it a cool fake juice company. And honestly, by accident, the whole thing kind of blew up. I woke up with 10,000 followers and 74 orders of immune shots.
10,000 followers and 74 orders of immune shots. Okay. She has 143 followers.
So I roped in my roommate to help run this with me because I have never made juice before, and now I run a gay juice company. So now we're running an empire from our little London.
She's running an empire from her little London apartment.
Apartment and making more money than our finance boy neighbors can only
Making more money than her finance boy neighbors can only
dream of. And that girl that I originally made this page to stalk has just put in an order.
There you go. There you go. Liberals, light up the chat. That one's for you. Goodbye, Utopia. Goodbye. I feel like with those glasses she can see what we're doing right now. Probably, bro. Probably. Yeah, man. You got that swipe keyboard just messing around. All right, what do you guys think? If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take you to go 80 miles? So there's two girls here. Do they get it correct or incorrect? Lucador, thank you for joining in on the chat. I don't know what that means, bro. What does that mean?
80 hours.
Oh, that's, you can't see it. Sorry. My goodness. Where'd it go? Yeah, you can't see it. All right, here it is.
80 miles per hour. How long does it take you to go 80 miles?
80 hours.
Gotta hear the start.
Miles per hour. How long does it take you to go 80 miles?
80 hours. All right, takes 70 hours. 70 hours. 80 hours?
If you're ever mad at a woman, just remember, she's probably retarded. It's not her fault.
If you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take you to go 80 miles?
80 hours. All right, takes 70 hours. 70 hours. 80 hours?
If you're ever...
Yeah, that's what some people are dealing with there. Lucador, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for joining in on the chat. We're going live every day in 2026, so make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
I have never seen this before.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I haven't.
Okay, have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
So enlighten me.
Okay, we have a truck that drives backwards. He's driving, and I'm passenger.
Look at that view, man. This is hilarious. Love seeing things like this. So the passenger is actually driving, and he's pretending like he's driving the whole thing backwards.
And I built it to where it looks like I'm driving, but I'm not.
That is why I'm talking to you.
Just imagine going up the road and seeing that.
That is
Yeah, he's driving.
That's cool.
That's so awesome. Any fitness people out there? Got some inspiration for you.
Bread is overrated and we want to stay shredded, so try out my amazing egg wraps. The entire wrap with the fillings and the sauce included is 350 calories with 55 grams of protein. I'm going to start off by preheating my oven to 450. Get a bowl, egg whites, and we're going to do 1 cup. Get your mixer and beat your eggs until they start forming soft peaks. Here's what it looks like. It's going to be super foamy. You need something to stabilize the eggs. I'm adding half a teaspoon. And
I hope it's possible to do it without that xanthan gum, because every other ingredient seems to be pretty good outside of that one.
And then beat your eggs again. Here's what it's looking like. Now we're gonna season it. A little bit of salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I love paprika, so I'm gonna add in some of that. I also love chipotle, so I'm gonna add in some chipotle. I'm on a sesame seed kick, so a little bit of those. I'm gonna add in 3 tablespoons of yogurt. Season to your preference, season to your taste, but once you're done seasoning, go ahead and whisk it. Here's what it looks like. I like to crumple up my parchment paper so that it'll lay flat. Now we're just gonna dump the mixture into the parchment paper. Now I'm just gonna throw this in the oven. For a nice chipotle spicy sauce, I'm gonna take 1/4 of a cup of yogurt and mix that in with some of this chipotle sauce from Lucky Dog. Not sponsored. This shit is just genuinely fire. Phenomenal. Bitch, this is how my bread's looking. All right, I have my filling measured out. Yeah, what the fuck?
Striker, thank you for joining in on the chat. Yeah, great. Looks amazing.
And that is another delicious recipe by the macro queen herself.
See, this xanthan gum thing, I would figure out if I can make it without it, because, yeah, not too good. If you want to check her out, it's Maya May. I'll pull it up. Maya May. That's her Instagram. Shout out to her. Cool content. All right, so what does Iran want from us? That's a pretty good question, right? Well, I think this guy knows what Iran wants.
From the new supreme leader of Iran with 3 specific demands at 30-day increments. Demand number 1 is a complete and total withdrawal of American forces from Iraq, Kuwait, Syria, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia within 30 days. How likely is that? Demand number 2, the U.S. must lift every sanction imposed on Iran since 1979, including all banking restrictions, oil export limitations, and all technological transfer information and products transfer bans within 60 days.
U.S. has information and transfer bans on Iran?
The third demand is to pay reparations to Iran for economic warfare that cost Iran an estimated, in their estimation, $800 billion in lost revenue in the last 40 years.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Yeah, man. That's super wild. Super wild.
Now, what they expect is to be paid back $500 billion within 10 years.
I think that's going to happen. $500 billion in 10 years. But you got to give it to those Iranians. They definitely do negotiate. That's one thing I do like about them for sure. Absolutely admirable.
If these three actions are not met,
I need some of what Iran is smoking. Man, yesterday I woke up, I did 6 backflips in one jump. It was wild, man.
Iran will take very, very specific retaliatory actions. The number one is they will completely close the Strait of Hormuz within that 30-day and on that 30-day deadline. Number two, they will activate defenses and military partnerships with Russia and China, including foreign military bases on Iranian soil. The third thing they promise to do is to exercise its right under international law to develop and deploy full-spectrum nuclear deterrent capabilities. The key word is deploy. When they use the word like deploy in an official statement, it leads one to believe they already have.
Is that one of those things they did in regards to some of those scientists? Do a little track back, a circle back, what you guys were talking about earlier. Those 2 scientists, General William Neil McCaslin and Monica Jacinto Reza, possibility.
Some form of nuclear capability. Now, this is not from the production of their own nuclear capabilities, because as we know, Donald Trump completely erased and demolished them. No, this is from what has come from either Russia or China, who has said 100% they are backing them. As put in official statements less than 90 minutes after these demands from the new supreme leader, China media and Russia media both released statements saying they recognized Iran's sovereignty as a country and they are giving full military.
Yeah, are they? Who's writing these demands?
Military unlimited support to Iran to defend itself if necessary. Now that's pretty damn scary. There was a leak from the Pentagon, and this is very important. It's dated on March 9th. It said that the attack so far has got the infrastructure that the attack was supposed to get. That portion of the
Are they actually saying that? It seems like it's aligning with this thing that happened here.
Excursion was complete. The military part that failed to meet their objectives of the orange turd is that Iran still has full capability.
Did he say orange turd?
To strike, because their underground supplies and manufacturing is still intact and 100% at occupancy, including the naval, the nuclear developments. Here's the very scary part. Achieving the total military victory as Trumple thin-skin dictates would take 200,000 United States troops. Let me repeat that. 200,000 United States troops. And he's already started deploying 5,000 from one, 2,000 from the other. Well, Iran just offered another attack in form of a one-sentence statement. They offered one condition to completely open the strait, and that is that every drop of oil purchased that travels through the strait is purchased with the Chinese yuan. which is a direct attack on the petrodollar. That is economic warfare from China. That's what Trump got us into. Congratulations, MAGA.
I like to hear it from all sides, all sides. yeah. He's like, sorry, bro. You know, I love chatting with you and all that, but I gotta go to my game. Oh, what's your game? Oh, yeah, I'm competing in women's MMA. Oh my gosh.
Yes or no?
Sure. Because it's another one. I keep asking you if I have time. Do I have time to tell the Zelensky story? Sure. Because it's another one. It's just, you know, what is Zelensky? In America, he's a hero. He's a real warrior. He's got that nice green, warrior suit on. And here's the truth. And people know parts of this story, but they don't know it in its cleanest narrative. So he was a totally apolitical. He was an outsider to politics, zero experience or interest in government or politics. He was a comedian. And with no manifesto, no party ties. And he does a TV show, a planned TV show called Servant of the People. And the main character in the show does a YouTube video that calls out oligarchs and corruption and eventually becomes popular and is drafted as a protest candidate and eventually becomes president. So Zelensky played on a TV show a person who becomes president by popular demand. In real life, the TV show is supported by an oligarch named Kolomoisky, who owned the TV channel. And Kolomoisky did a huge nonstop promo on that TV show to make it the #1 show. Primetime slots and ads everywhere and crossovers with the news and what have you. 2018, a year before the show goes off the air, Zelensky forms a political party called Servant of the People, the same title as the show.
So Zelensky was actually a reality television person, just like our beloved dear Donald Trump.
And in no press release, secretly done, and then he does another season of the show, and in April of 2019, he announces his actual candidacy on Instagram. He has no campaign, no rallies, no real platform. He skips the presidential debates. Others attended. He avoids press conferences, and the few that he did were in the beginning were really bad. And Kolomoisky's TV channel gave Zelensky's campaign endless airtime.
Endless airtime.
And favorable polls, and went after his enemies. The U.S. intelligence agencies, CIA and NSA, helped U.S.
That's wild.
Spending $5 billion, by the way, on democracy campaigns in Ukraine, funneled through NGOs.
I did not know Ronald Reagan was also an actor. Very cool. Well, these politicians have to be comfortable in front of a camera and with speaking in front of people, so that makes sense.
And
but to have backers and for another country to spend $5 billion, do you say billion, to bring this guy?
USAID embeds advisors in his organization to help with the campaign. I'm almost done. And on election day, Zelensky wins with 73% of the vote. And then the war happens with Russia, and he declares martial law, and he ends elections. There's supposed to be an election in 2024. That's what we get for our democracy money.
He ends elections. There was supposed to be an election in 2024.
And quite literally, he is an actor in a carefully designed television show. He is a construct, like Epstein is a construct, meaning he's a created entity. and it worked. That is Zelensky, American hero. I guess his star is maybe fading a little bit now. I don't know. What do you think? Is he still wildly popular in America?
Well, I think people are very disappointed by the fact that the wars continue to go on and the deaths, the amount of deaths. I mean, people are horrified by it. And that's a big failure of
way too many deaths. There should not be that many.
Of the promises of the Trump administration too, because Trump famously said that he would get it done in 24 hours. But you can't get it done at all.
Yeah, it's tough.
And they're conscripting 60-year-old men. And setting them to the front line. I mean, it's
and Americans and people from all over the world to go narrative. I think your very first question was, do people do this on purpose? Things events. It's not how people get into power in many countries around the world.
Well, the crazy thing is the narrative that the soldiers in Russia were being told, that this was going to be over very quickly. They're going to be welcomed, and then they had dress uniforms in their packs.
Yeah,
they thought it was going to be a couple of days. Storm in, storm out. You're a hero.
Yeah, we were told that in Iraq that we will be, welcomed in Iraq as soon as we get to Baghdad.
So, what do you think the Ukraine thing is really all about?
Well, why limit it to Ukraine? Just talk about human war. I mean, what is human war always about? It's about primacy and control and wealth. And 1,000 years ago, there's about 1,000 what you would call government systems, right? There's warlords and there's shoguns in Japan and there's all these little entities. In our lifetime, it's down to 190. But is it really 190? It's more like 5, right? NATO and China and the Soviet bloc when it existed and the oil-producing countries. In other words, it's getting to be whatever number you want to make it, but eventually it'll be 2 fuckers sitting in a room and then they got to kill each other.
Right.
And then, that is the decay of empire. And we are...
Barry, that's a great idea. They should. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's up here. I think that anybody that serves in politics should have to have prior service in the armed forces as a prerequisite to becoming an official, especially for Congress and the president. Yeah, I agree. Rashid Ali 3654. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the chat.
We have 760 military bases overseas.
760 military bases. 5 billion.
And favorable polls and went after his enemies. The U.S. intelligence agencies, CIA and NSA, helped. U.S. spending $5 billion, by the way, on democracy campaigns.
Spending $5 billion on democracy campaigns. Your tax dollars are going towards democracy in different countries. Very cool, very cool. Our tax dollars. My goodness. We gotta end this on a lighter note. We need a lighter note. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's do a lighter note. We're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Oh, this is creative. This is really cool. All right, y'all. I got it for you. Skrillex did not just define the early 2010s. Let's see, what's my frame like? Nope, can't see a thing. Let's roll it. So the videos behind Skrillex's most iconic samples.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Yes! Oh my gosh!
So creative, so cool. That's like absolutely awesome. And like, that's pure joy. I don't know if like someone can act in that way. Like someone accomplished something really cool. All right, what's happening here? You have some cars, you got some people walking around.
I'm calling the police now! Call 911 now! Call 911 now!
That one was funny, dude. Just some Karen, dude, crashing out. All right.
Was ist das denn? Oh mein Gott, was ist geschehen? Oh mein Gott, was ist geschehen?
Yeah, man, Skrillex is super, super inspirational. All right, y'all, we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications and share and do whatever, because we're building an awesome community. Get to see all these amazing comments, and you guys are just absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for being here. I love you. The Lord loves you. Your family loves you. Everybody loves you. So go on and make the best out of your day, and try to use the word kismet in your day. And yeah, until next time.